Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Upcore Champions League. It is match day number 2 of this playoff stage. We have 3 elimination games for you, one after the other, back to back to back. First up, we have Upcore Esports versus Synchronic Gaming. The winner of that faces off against Revenant and Spark, who actually were beaten by Monarchy in the upper bracket final. And then the winner of that faces off against Monarchy. I am your host, Pedcast, joined by the amazing AJ7. And this is just a public service announcement that if you are looking for a Brawl Cup pin, you can check on Twitter, and I believe the QR codes and links are going to be active till the end of the month. That's just a little bit for you, so you have the not till the end of the month, till the end of June, so you still have some time to get that exclusive pin. So go on Twitter, go on all the social medias, find out which content creators have those and harass them. But how are you doing today, AJ? Are you looking forward to some of these matches, or are you just like, I need to get over with this?
No, I mean, it's day 2 and it's the finals, and this is what we're here for. We have Revenant. No team is still eliminated. They still have the chance. But Monarchy making it to the grand finals already in day 1. I'm looking forward to, they beat one of the best teams in the region. Revenant and Spark is one of the top seeds in South, Asia region. And I mean, what can be better than that? A banger coming up, for today matchup, and really excited for that.
Indeed, and there's a lot of money up for grabs. Just looking at the tournament format here, we had 4 days of open qualifiers, each of them having $500 plus crowdfunding as a prize pool. From that, we needed to get 8 of our teams who then participated in the open qualifiers, and in that open participated in the round robin phase. And in that round robin phase, we needed to get top 4 teams who participate in a double elimination bracket in the playoffs, which is where we're at right now. The prize pool is $2,000 plus crowdfunding, and it is largely contributed by Supercell, Matcherino, and with the help and association of Iconic Esports. So thank you to everybody who's made this possible. But yes, welcome to the Upcore Champions League, where champions are made and baptized by fire.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about that, we are, heading on to the very underrated region, actually, Hiroshi, Vex, Prime, and the Synchronic gang. It's pretty good to see players coming up from, an underrated, uncovered seed of region, and, making up to, such an event with such a high price pool coming up on the line. And, really excited to see how things goes. And
yeah, I mean,
talking about the drafts yesterday, there was some time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about how good the players in Synchronic Esports, Synchronic Gaming were. But right now we have Upcore Esports here, Captain Roxtaron and Walkthrough. I feel like Walkthrough really captains the team properly to give them the right call outs and operate as a well-oiled machine in these matches. I love the aggression from Captain Rox, and then you have Shran as well in either lane, so they're flanking their opponents. I feel like they're doing a really great job, but unfortunately, it didn't. Fortunately for them, it worked out exactly how they wanted it to go. Upcore Esports is, I guess, the flagship team for this event. Unfortunately, they bowed out of the competition early on in the upper bracket semifinals, but it's still not done and dusted for them. It's they're gonna have an elimination game against Synchronic. We have Prashant, Ash King, and Yash. And on Revenant Spark, there's Response, X9J, Sergeant. This team is the resident team which has participated in the Brawl Cup representing the region. And yeah, the result wasn't what they wanted, obviously, because Sergeant wasn't available to go there because of certain issues. But Zara took up the mantle. Unfortunately, the result was a little lackluster, and I feel like something that people didn't really expect. But maybe that result is going to fuel a lot more aggression in the region and a lot more competitiveness, as people want to obviously represent their region and they want their region to do well on the world stage. So you're going to have a lot more competition going forward. Just looking at the story so far in the upper brackets, we had Upcore Esports facing off against Revenant X Spark, but they did give them a free win in a set because of a dodge there. So Revenant X Spark got a 3-1 victory over there. Then we had Monarchy versus Synchronic Gaming, which was a very interesting match. We had Monarchy go up 2-0, then Synchronic took 2 from them after that and went down to the wire. But despite the better draft, Synchronic got taken in by Monarchy, and that was that. Then we had Monarchy versus Revenant and Spark in the upper bracket final to find out who was going to be there in the grand finals. And unfortunately for Revenant and Spark, they completely capitulated to the pressure from Monarchy. They became a husk of what they're supposed to be. So that meant Monarchy made it to the grand finals with Revenant and Spark not even claiming a single set. But today, we have all of our elimination games, and we need to crown who are going to be the champions of the Upcore Champions League. Right now, it's looking like the Kings and Monarchy seem to be in a great spot, but the Titans from Revenant and Spark look like they want that revenge in the grand final, but they do have some opposition on the way there.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about Revenant's storyline as far, I mean, getting swept 3-0 by, a team like Monarchy, I mean, I'm pretty sure they didn't expect that, even not even a single set. And, you know, the big question arises that will Upcore Esports and Revenant will we get to see this matchup again? Will Upcore Esports get to take the revenge that they had to face a set loss unfortunately yesterday because of that Mortis unexpected pick, so they had to dodge there. Will Upcore be the one beating Synchronic to come against Revenant to enter the finals? And that's the big question. Will they try to make a play back and get the number one seed out of the competition? And that's the biggest question, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I feel like they were kind of bamboozled, and it was very unexpected because going into this competition, they're the overwhelming favorites. When you think of a roster which has Sergeant Clash just individually by himself, or a Response by himself, or X9J, you already think that they're going to be at the later stages of the competition. But combined, you don't expect them to lose any matches against most of the teams in this region. So that was very unexpected. But here in this competition, the format involves having 5 different sets. It's always going to be Brawl Ball, followed by Jam Grab, followed by Hot Zone, Heist, and Bounty. But within each of the sets, we have a map pool available. So that's going to be randomized. And that is courtesy Matcherino. That is how Matcherino does operate. And thank you, Matcherino, for being one of our operational partners for this event. But yes, in Brawl Ball here, we have Pinhole Punt, Sneaky Fields, Super Beach, and Triple Dribble, all offering different map setups and obviously different metas and strategies. And really, it depends on how teams are going to be able to adapt to all of these different hazards.
Yeah, definitely. And the game mode sequence is pretty much it's actually similar to yesterday's, and I'm really looking forward, because the match pool, the map pool is absolutely random by Matcherino, and the meta, different map, different meta, different brawlers. We're gonna get to see different comps. These players are capable of anything, and we're gonna face Upcore Esports and Synchronic for the first matchup of the day. I'm really looking forward to this one because this will decide if Upcore will get a chance to take revenge against Revenant in the next matchup, or will it be Synchronic to make a move.
Indeed, I mean, Upcore obviously being the team of the tournament organizer, they don't want to be bowing out first in the competition because the person who loses, I mean, the team who loses here in this lower bracket semifinal is going to be the first team who's going to be relegated. So we say goodbye to them. And it is, of course, Synchronic. And I didn't get to talk much about Synchronic, but they have Vex, Hiroshi, and Prime. Hiroshi, known as one of the most adept max players in Brawl Stars. And what that means is that you have a lot more dynamic compositions that you can employ with this max, and the amount of speed, the amount of aggression that Hiroshi can provide for his team with just the speed and the fact that he is so good at wiggling allows him to be that adept. Vex, I don't even know. Vex is a clutch player. He plays very rarely in competitive, but when he does, he completely destroys teams. He's kind of reminiscent of Gas from EU. Doesn't play much of esports, but when he does, he kind of plays spoil sport to a lot of the teams that participate. And finally, we have Prime, who is a prime example of a player who's made it to very many international LAN events. I feel like a lot of people don't know how good this guy actually is, and today we might just see Synchronic Gaming bringing out the fierceness that really is a part of their DNA. But hopefully Upcore Esports here with Prashant, Ash King, and Yash are up to the task and up to the challenge.
Yeah, the draft is ready already. Seems like we got Lou banned out for some area control and anti-tank brawler, really nice anti-tank brawler. And Hank Kenji makes really sense to me. And Lumi, of course. Jackie, really good brawler as well on this map, has been banned out. Yash with the first pick takes Jaeyoung. I was really expecting like there would be something like, oh, okay, I was about to take Shade's name and yeah, it popped up right in front of us. Wex with a Shade. Will we get to see a tank comp with something like Berry is a big question for me.
Yeah, I feel like on triple dribble you could run a Barry along with a Frank or something going on here, and we don't see a Hank for a Frank being banned out, so that's certainly a possibility, especially with the fact that you have that Jaeyoung with Yush, which can switch up your different strategies. You can either go really fast or you can be a healer and give sustain to your team. But all things considered, it's a really well-rounded brawler, which allows you to be very adaptable with how you're approaching this. Hiroshi opting for the Primo, I feel like the Primo is an anticipatory pick. I feel like some teams opt for this Primo because it's really great into a lot of different tanks. And if you look at the tanks which are already banned, you don't have the Jackie, you don't have the Buster, the Kenji, or the Hank. It just gives you so much more viability as a Primo, especially since the only opposition you're going to be going up against as a tank is probably going to be that Frank. You compound this with the bans of both the Lumi and the Lu, and it's basically a very good use case for the El Primo. But asking bringing out the Barley is going to be huge because on a map like this with all these walls, AJ, I feel like Barley is just going to be so imperative to the success of Upcore Esports.
Yeah, definitely. The fact that Barley has that gadget that gives the healings, Yash has the healing and speed opportunity for his team as well. Plus, Otis, really good brawler to shut down Vex or Hiroshi because they're gonna go really aggressive on top of them, and they really needed something like that. And now that Otis has his hypercharge as well, I think it's really nice response to the Primo as well in general. Because
Mm-hmm.
Primo being not just a tank, he also is an anti-tank by himself. So really nice response. I really like the Barley as well because it's gonna be very annoying. They have to deal with the Barley, but I think Shade can
Oh.
take care of that as well. Prime with the call. I mean, I really
Mm.
like that. I'm still not sure. I mean, it totally depends on the gadget. The
Mm-hmm.
Carl is a brawler that his playstyle totally depends on his gadget. So, what do you think of the draft so far?
Honestly, I like the synchronic draft a lot more. They have so much of aggression, and Otis is okay. It's a good brawler and everything to shut down tanks and whatnot. But with the Carl there and the fact that there is just so much of HP on the side of synchronic gaming because all of them are mini tanks or full on tanks, it's going to be hard for Upcore to really get this down perfectly because they need to play perfectly to be able to take down the synchronic composition. We're going to go into game number 1 in this lower bracket semifinals here between Upcore and Synchronic, and already we have 2 takedowns happening. Hiroshi tries to go into the flying hook, gets taken out. Oh, there was a missed trick shot by Prashant. He was getting a little bit spicy there, but he didn't find what he was looking for.
Yeah, definitely. Great. I mean, the Primo is really going aggressive as well. I'm getting to say that the fact that it's just coming on the way is trying a lot. But he got a super, and that's what matters for him. One massive jump will be enough to take down any brawler. Yash has a super as well, connects really well. Vex is low. His trying to dash some shots, goes down though. Hiroshi with the flying hook gadget that I was talking about. He has a lot of mobility with that one. And Prime, the capability of hitting through the walls is doing so. Trishant is low, he falls down as well. Prime goes as well. Super by Ash King. Okay, Primo is slowed down. I wasn't expecting the gadget there, but
Yeah.
really, really balanced so far, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Upcore is playing this really well, but there were moments where I felt like the Primo didn't have to go in all the way because Prashant did have his gadget. I feel like some of these plays aren't really advisable. Vex going in, he finds a kill. He has a hypercharge. He's going to be going on Ash. He finds another. That is a brace. Now Vex going to go in for the goal. Should be able to find an open net, and that is Synchronic Gaming getting a very important pivotal goal. And with that, we're off to the races with one goal being secured by these teams here.
Hypercharge has been popped on by Ash King. Not much value coming up from that one. Hiroshi has his hypercharge as well. Primo is also looking dangerous with the super he has.
Ooh.
He tries to make a play. He jumps. He doesn't get any connection. Yash gets the connection with the hypercharge. Otis super though. Shut him down. Hiroshi with the play, no connection. This can be a scoring opportunity. Ashking walks
Wow.
it in. Is not enough for
Beautiful stuff.
Synchronic. It's evened out, and it's pretty. We're probably going to overtime, but it never know. Vex is low as well. Ashking trying to make things,
Mhm.
evened out.
Yeah, Vex has a lot of HP. The bulk is going to be in play here. Prime going in with a super, finds a kill on an Ashki. That's going to be huge. It's going to relieve a lot of pressure for Synchronic as they are low. Ooh, Gadget being popped. Vex
Oh,
goes in with a super, tries to find a kill, not able to do so. They get the complete team wipe. Upcore Esports. Now we're in overtime. They have a lot of positioning and control, but that super and Prime is something that you have to keep an eye on. He's going to pop it, goes in, uses the Gadget, gets a lot of hypercharge coming from Hiroshi. He
oh.
finds a way on Yash, but he does get taken out by Yash. But that fire is going to keep him getting that kill here. Vex going to push the ball back, and he goes in for Ash King, but that was a really badly used super there for him.
I mean, surely that Primo is going to struggle a lot in overtime with the balls, has been destroyed. One super is all what he needs. Ashking has his hypercharge available to get the area control that he might need. Prime with the gadget, not much connection coming in. It can be a scoring opportunity, and UPC
Oh
might get
no.
a goal here, and Yash walks it in. UPC takes game number 1.
Yeah, there was no path forward for Synchronic Gaming in that interaction. Very well played by Upcore Esports. They got all the kills that they needed 5 seconds before overtime. It allowed them to have a lot more control, and they could demand the situation as they saw fit. We're going to go into game number 2 here, and Synchronic need to pull their bootstraps, and otherwise they're going to get wiped once more. Vex going to be taken out. It's a little bit of a repeat from the first game here. It's going to be a gadget used by Prashant. He finds a kill onto Prime. That's huge. And now they're able to isolate Hiroshi. Uses the flying hook to go on and ask him. Finds the kill. That is crazy. And with that, it's going to allow Vex to be a lot more of a nuisance and allow his teammate to get back into the mix of things, which is what Prime is doing. But Vex is going to be bullied quite a bit, and it's going back and forth. But a lot of control coming from Upcore, with Synchronic Gaming don't seem to be able to keep up with right now.
There's a goal coming up for Upcore already. I mean, I really like the gadget selection from Ashking as well. Very underrated gadget, the slow down for the Primo, but he has a super. It's one massive Primo jump. That was 2 connection on that. Hiroshi going crazy there as well, falls down. Prashant is low. Prime with a walk-in. Can he do so? He doesn't manage. It's easy enough for Upcore to keep the ball away from the Prime. Prime, he needs a super to escape that. He gets it in. Ash
Oh my
King gets him
god.
some slaps there. Prashant is low. It can be the opportunity that Fex needed, and he'll find one to equalize the score.
That was beautiful stuff. Prime just kept on the back lines, but it became a huge distraction. Allowed his teammates to get the ball up and get that goal in with that Primo jump there. Vex getting taken out, flying hook from Hiroshi. He goes as a super, and he's able to take down Ashki. It's going to be a 1v2, though. So Prime can't really do much other than hold this line, but there is going to be offensive coming up against Prashant. He gets taken out, and that is unfortunate for him as the members of Synchronic get back into the mix of things, but so do Upcore. They have 3 members to 2, and it's pretty even in the mid. The score is also even at 1 piece.
Yeah, Primo falls down. They might get opportunity after the area control that Ash King is going to provide now. But I think it's not going to be enough. So Vex has his super. One jump can be enough to get a kill on Thrashant. And he finds it. Hypercharged, popped up by Yash. No connection. He'll save the super. He's not going to use it just yet. Hiroshi has his hypercharge as well, just farming his super. Prime really needs a super as well to get a kill on.
Nice.
Oh, he goes down to Yash. It's really looking good for Upcore. As of now, 10 seconds on the clock. We are heading on to overtime. And super is there for Vex as well to make a play. He's probably trying to find Ash King. No connection there. He goes down. But Hiroshi well past the ball
Oh!
to keep it safe. Prime goes as well, and this could be enough. And the set has been taken by Upcore Esports, and that was easy walk in there.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that was supposed to clear the ball there, Hiroshi. So, or was it Vex? I don't know. The Carl player did that, but that was unfortunate for them. That's going to be Upcore Esports taking the first set against Synchronic. Honestly, I'm a little bit perplexed with the performance from Synchronic Game. I felt like they did have the draft, but Upcore Esports performed at a very high level. Just look at the number of kills Prime got though here. He got 0 kills as a Primo, which is, I guess, probably not something that you expect. And Prashant with that J Young, 492 DPS with 8 kills. 8 kills is kind of crazy right now, honestly. And they have a well-deserved victory here, AJ.
Yeah, also well drafted. The auto spec was really good to shut down Primo, and he actually connected pretty much every super, if I'm not wrong. There, the last pass, I think, on their score. I mean, I think it was intentional. He was expecting that his teammate might come up on time, but Prime fell down there, and no one was really take care of the ball. There was no one was coming up on the line, and I think that was kind of a misplay because he would have shot it in front of us well. But I think it's Brawl Esports. It's chaotic. The things happen like that. And set number one for Upcore, and just like yesterday, Upcore took the set. In Brawl Ball as well, and I think they're looking strong in the specific game mode.
Yeah, I mean, getting the first set, it sets the momentum for the rest of the match. So, it's a very important win for Upcore Esports as they go into the second set. Synchronic Gaming, I honestly still think that they had draft. I felt like the gameplay was not up to par. There were so many times where they got into pinches that they probably couldn't get into. They probably should have got into. They had so much of HP and bulk, but they weren't able to utilize it and capitalize on it. And I felt like that was a big issue. There were moments of brilliance, especially that one play where we saw the Primo going in, breaking the wall, and you saw Prime at the end backlines on his the shade, I guess, and he was doing a number on the opponents, just keeping them low and distracting them. So that's how you're supposed to be playing it. So it was unfortunate that they couldn't get their game plan and strategy in mind. We're gonna go in the second set here between Upcore and Synchronic GG, and just looking at the draft, we have our bans. It's double swoosh. So we have our bans. There's gonna be Buster, Kenji, Lumi, Stu, Jay Young, and the Buster again. So double Buster ban opens up one more brawler for the draft, and Synchronic Gaming opting for Vexus Janet. It's an interesting pick. Yes, you can scout out people in the bushes, but I feel like it is a very dated strategy. I don't think that people go for Janet as much on this map unless you already have Amber banned out or Terra banned out. So considering that fact, I find the Janet to be a very suspicious pick. And Amber coming out for Upcore Esports, see, that is the more expected outcome. I like this Amber. You're going to be able to burn up the grasses. It's grasses, the grass. You wouldn't be able to see where people are if you don't do that. The burn damage is crazy. And once Amber gets that hypercharge, it's basically game over. There's a huge puddle all over the map, which is a hazard just to walk through. So I like this first pick from Upcore Esports. It makes sense for them.
Yeah, getting rid of the grass is the prime thing on this one because the map is pretty much pushy, and you really need a brawler who can whose main projectiles just pierce through enemies. You can also get rid of those Tara shade if we're gonna get a Tara, because one massive pull of even with the hypercharge can be enough to reset. And Ash King with the Fangs, I really like this ping. Both the teams has brawlers that can scout out grass, and if not, they could have just taken vision gear, something like that. We pretty much got the mid brawler coming up from Synchronic. Now we have Hiroshi. Will we get to see something like Jackie? What do you think about that?
I think that it's possible because when you use Great, you open up your own team to using a tank as a possibility because you just put down the super on the mid. It's great for picking up those last few gems that you may need. It's great for going into unsuspecting mid carriers, gem carriers on the other side. So I like this Great pick. The adaptability that Great brings, the malleability in your approach to the draft is so important. And it really goes to show that they know what they need to do in terms of the draft. Here we have Prime coming out with Hank. I think that it's a pretty good draft. I would have preferred the Amber first pick for Janet, and I would say that was probably a Prime draft. But I don't think Upcore have it wrong by any means. They have a Finks, they have an Amber, and now they also have a Lily. So Lily could be going into both, I guess, the Janet and the Great. But I feel like once you get that super and you try to go in on these opponents, if they have their own super, you've kind of wasted all of your abilities. Then Lily can't really address that Hank either. So I'm not convinced with the Lily pick, but I think that if, Synchronic GG are caught napping, then that Lily's going to do a lot of work.
Yeah, definitely. There could be a better pick than Janet. I mean, they might go for the old strat. They're obviously going for the old strat, collecting all the gem, getting that hypercharge. That nasty hypercharge. Even like Amber is a fragile brawler in a sense. You can get a kill with the hypercharge from Janet. Janet not going mid. Might drop a base, will go down. Oh, interesting gadget pick from
Ooh.
Prime. He goes with the jump instead of the,
Oh,
he's not gonna use the base one. Gets the kill. Beautifully done. I mean, it's still not. I'm still not sure about the draft from both sides. Honestly, like they're doing pretty well. They're executing really well as of now. Cross has been destroyed from their own territory.
beautiful stuff coming in from Upcore Esports. The pressure from Prashant that now he's put out in super is crazy. Lily goes in, but there is a jump coming in from the
Mm-mm.
jetted kill from Hiroshi on Prashant is huge. All of that effort that Prashant put in has completely gone away now. Ashkin going in with his gadget and along with that hypercharge. Now he's in the bushes, but gets found out, unfortunately for him and his team. Prime on the left-hand side, going to keep that unlocked, but all the members of Upcore on the right-hand side this time. Vex with a hypercharge. He is going to be able to be on defensive, keep a lot of space between him and Hiroshi, just allow Hiroshi to get those gems and operate. And I feel like it was completely going the way of Upcore, but Synchronic, ever since Hiroshi got that kill, has been in a better position here, AJ.
Yeah, the Grey has hypercharge as well. They can manage to escape. Also, it's a very good positioning for Vex because the TP placement is so well done there. You might need to escape at the moment. He has his hypercharge as well that he might will pop. Actually, right now, one gem is all what they need. Synchronic to make a countdown. There's 6 on the line for them. No gadget connection. Ash King really looking for that super. I think he's in a very risky state. He just can't go near any of those brawlers. Goes down. Vex is low. Thrashant versus super hypercharge. Prime coming in tries to make it, but TP is there from Thrashant as well. He almost falls down. All the gems has been dropped. Prime with the jump escapes. They got all the opportunities they were looking for. And the TP placement was actually not to the mark according to the hypercharge, but game number 1 and set number 2 taken by Synchronic.
Yeah, beautiful stuff coming in from Synchronic Gaming here. It looked like they were getting complete control after Prashant got taken out by the Grey there. So beautiful gameplay. As we go to game number 2, it's going to be up to Upcore to change their favors. I feel like the Lily pick is a decent pick all around, but it's not really paying dividends for them as much. And on the other side, Prashant as well, a little bit, inadvisable gameplay happening from time to time, which results in a complete swap of all the gems to Synchronic.
Yeah, I mean, Lily got to struggle all the way along because Vex is a brawler. He just can't stay near Vex as a Hank. He has the healings, he has the damage from close as well. Hiroshi has his TP whenever he's available with the TP, he can just escape. Right there's a super from Ash King. Find the trade. Prime is low as well, goes down. UPC, pretty good positioning this time. They have the mid control as well now, but Cross, no one really there, to take care on the right hand side from UPC. Vex is coming with that big shot. Well connect on Yash, no gadget connection from Hiroshi. Yash falls down. Gadget is
Ooh, have
available
a
for
mani
you.
mano
Ash
with
King, he will
Vex and
not
Ash.
use it though.
Mano mano with Ash King and the Hank there, and the Hank gets the better of him in that situation. Now Prime pressuring Yash, keeping him low. Yash gonna be pretty low himself. Uses his gadget to get out of that situation. He's dodging quite well, but might be taken out by Prime if he's not careful. And he does miss that fire onto Prime on the right hand side. Ash King going on a Vex, finds a kill. Now he's going on to the Grace. Should be able to find one, but not going to be able to collect any of the gems. But has won so much of control for his team. 8 gems on Prashant's side here. Vex gonna go in with a hypercharge. He needs to find Prashant, or he needs to get some kills coming in. Prashant a little bit low, not too high of a HP for my liking in this situation.
Ash King doing much better this time. I mean, he's really making use of that hypercharge you get in the Shadow Realm, and that's you're looking for as a Lily, because it's a 1v1 situation basically. But the gems has been dropped down, and Synchronic has the chance. 12 seconds is all what they need, and I mean, it's really not looking good for Upcore Esports as far.
Yeah, I mean, Synchronic Gaming, just highway robbery. They just took all the gems, ran away with it, and that was unfortunate. Very well played by Synchronic to get in that situation and tie it up at one apiece on the set score. And I feel like Upcore Esports played really well for the majority of the game, but Synchronic were keyed into the objective, were keyed into keeping track of where everybody was at all times. Also noting, how susceptible somebody might be to be taken out. So all in all, beautiful stuff from Synchronic Gaming. Upcore Esports, they need to clean that up.
I mean, yes, they're still in the competition. They're not out yet, and we're gonna head on to Hot Zone. One of the maps where you really need to, get pressurized in that specific zone. The matchups. I mean, we might still get to see some Grays or Hank comms in here if they don't get banned. Kenji is also a brawl that can be brought down here, but talking about the previous game, I think the Janet actually worked out. Even the fact that he didn't use the gadget that I'm actually thinking about, but I mean, it was great for escape. He was using it whenever Ash King was putting on the super. And I think that was a really nice approach, even after taking the Janet first pick. And beautifully placed the TPs by Hiroshi on the Grey. I mean, Ash King, he really struggled a lot, considering the fact that he can't get close to the Hank. If he even gets close to Prime, he uses the gadget or super to escape. Same with Hiroshi, he has his TP. I mean, Lily last pick, okay, I mean, it makes sense. See, we're getting to see Lily a lot of times in the competitions recently, but I mean, looking at the draft, I think it was not the right pick. I mean, you never know.
Yeah, I'm just want to talk about a little bit of the match stats here because it's obviously been on the screen for a little bit. A lot of damage coming in from Yusher, almost 300 deep damage per second. You got a few kills here and there, and obviously it looks like the Jet didn't do as much, but she did a pretty good job. I'd have to say I like the placement of the teleporter from Hiroshi. It allowed Hank to get onto the point there, and as a result, we got a lot more pressure from the Hank. Not necessarily converting to kills and not necessarily converting to damage, but it got the job done. Now we're going to be heading into hot zone. We have Dueling Beetles, Open Business, and Ring of Fire as the possible map pool here. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the different abilities that are going to be coming into play and the different strategies that teams invoke as they decide to draft here. Like on Dueling Beetles, you have a very cagey map, you have a lot of walls, but it's time for, I guess, Open Business instead. So you have a few walls here. Gray is a decent shout here, but I feel like this is a very conducive map to something like a Barry Hank or a Barry Frank. And looking at the bans, we have the Frank being banned out, the Lou as well, double banned out. Kenji's going to be coming out. Considering the bans, it makes sense, right? You don't have the charge up shots from the B, you don't have the stun from the Lumi, you don't have the stun from the Lou as well. So I think this is a very conducive draft so far for a Kenji. Obviously, it's still early on in the draft, so Synchronic Gaming have to figure out how to counter out this first pick from Upcore Esports, but they do have a Hank in their arsenal that they could bring out, and a Barry, and we've seen how good Barry can be in Hot Zone, specifically in conjunction with a tank.
Yeah, unlike other game modes, Hot Zone is a mode which is more like chaotic because there's a lot going in a specific area on the map, and Hank is coming in. I'm really expecting a Berry to come here, if not a Barley, but I think Berry being an open pick here, this should really go for that. And the healing's coming up from the Berry, not just from Berry, but also Hank has the potential to, use his super and get the healings as well. Yash, I really like the Kenji pick. I mean, he really has the potential, team by potential with that hypercharge, in the very last moments. But I mean, this draft is still there, and Berry is actually coming on, and I really want to see that action coming up from Berry, because recently in Hot Zone specifically, we're getting to see a lot of Berries being a total assassin massacre, So yeah, really looking for that.
Yeah, I like the conjunction of the Berry with the Hank here. Just gonna have a lot more sustain with the Berry. You get your supers, and you're able to charge your hypercharges by taking damage. And I feel like this combination is just like salt and pepper. I would say two peas in a pod. Asking bringing out the grip. I like this one a lot. You have the wall breaks with the piggy bank, which is your gadget. It breaks up the map a little bit. It makes it easier to take down that berry. Every wall that you take down for against berry makes berry less viable, but it just makes it so that berry can probably get his super even faster.
I mean, yeah, Trishant with the crow pick. I mean, that chipping damage that he's gonna give a lot of times. But I think it's fine for synchronic gaming, considering the fact that they have Prime to take care of that chipping damage that they're gonna get over time from that crow. But I mean, all of these brawlers are devastating if they get the hypercharge. I mean, Ash King with the hypercharge. I mean, it's really gonna be a nightmare for Prime and Vex, considering that, because even the hypercharge coming up from Crow is great in a sense. He just have to make sure it doesn't jump
Yeah.
on Hank with the super or hypercharge. Tara is gonna be the option that they're gonna pick
Yeah.
by Synchronic. I mean, it's a great pick. You have that
You're right.
Tara shades. But I still think I really like the Upcore point of sight. But I mean, Prime, it's a Prime comp coming up from Synchronic, and the healings is
Yeah.
always there for them. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I like this crow pick here because it does address a little bit of the berry, right? You have the anti-heal to the berry's heal, so that means berry's not going to be as effective. The Terra is an interesting pick, but considering that we have a Kenji there, I feel like Terra is going to be able to get her super and her hypercharge even more often. We're going to go into game number 1 off this third set since we are at parity, since the set score is at 1 apiece. It's going to be very important for either team to win this set here. As on the left-hand side, Prashant going up against Vex, there is going to be a super used. Prashant, very low, 116 HP to his name. It is a little bit of a lead for Upcore, but with that kill onto Prashant and Ash King as well, it's not looking as good for them. I feel like Synchronic GG have a really good position here right now.
also Ashking with the wall breaks in the middle, it will kind of give some trouble to the Berry as well as Vex on that tank. Shades coming in. Trishant will take care of them with one slice. Hiroshi almost falls down, but he stays alive. Hypercharge is popped. Yash gets a kill. Prime has a super hypercharged one. He gets all the healings that his team requires. Yash is low. He has to back off. Trishant really looking for that hyper. He has the hypercharge. He just needs his super. One massive play can be enough. He has a team by potential, but it only depends if the opponent stacks. Really good positioning. As of now, UPC still trying to make some control, but they have to back off. Perry has this healing, his low. He goes down. Hiroshi goes down as well. Ash King has his hypercharge. Will not just use it yet. He's gonna wait for the opponent to respawn.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Ooh, hypercharge from Ash King. He's able to get a lot more damage and value as well. Pushing back Hiroshi to spot. Ooh, Prashant as well. Hypercharge. He's able to take down one. He's going for the second. Gets the third as well. Complete team wipe from that Kenji. That purple button is just indomitable. You can't really go up against it. Hiroshi with the gravity, but holds absolutely nothing. That is unfortunate for Synchronic Gaming, and it's giving Upcore Esports a great opportunity and a great shot to take this one.
I mean, yeah, the anti-healing from Yosh hypercharge coming in. Prime falls low, but he goes down. Vex is still alive with the supers that is coming from the Prime. Beautiful hypercharge coming in from Ash King. Gets so much value there. He has his another super. Vex falls low. He might go down, but he stays alive with the berry super and as well as his super. Hypercharge Hiroshi coming in. He is low. He can't do anything alone there. And game number 1 of third set taken by Upcore.
Beautiful stuff from our core esports. They were able to keep back their opponents from the midpoint there. We saw Hiroshi with the gravity, but even at the end, I feel like that was probably a win condition. He had the hypercharge, he had the gravity, but he managed to only pull one person, which is unfortunate for him. We're going to go into game number 2 off this third set between Upcore and Synchronic, and already Upcore in a great spot. Just one more win is going to put them one up in the set score against their opponents, and that's what they need to do. But Prashant going down early on isn't going to inspire any confidence in them as a team.
I really like Ash King in this matchup. He has the ball break, he has the area control, he has the hypercharge that is devastating. Vex falls low, Trishant gets the kill. It's pretty looking good for Upcore as of now, 40% to 0. I mean, This is going really well this time. Prime is trying to get some, shots on the zone so that they just don't get the healings. Yash falls low, but he has a super. Vex is trying to make some plays. He's trying to find his super as well as his hypercharge. No connection on Yash. Yash uses a super, is falling low. He goes down to the super from Vex. Trishant has his hypercharge. Can be devastating once he uses it, at least on two people. And Thara has the hypercharge super as well, though.
Yeah, Prashant saving his hypercharge, I feel like that's okay because they have such a huge lead
Ooh.
anyway. Now Barry is kind of, cycling his supers, getting a lot of value in the mid, and Synchronic Gaming are down by 40% at this point, so they need to be able to be concernedly on the point. Otherwise, things are going to be looking for back to first. And Prashant going in once more. He gets a little bit of value from a super, finds a kill,
Ooh.
gets popped by Vex, who's going to be taken out by Yush's hypercharge as well. 80 to 54% control on the side of Upcore, and they're looking quite comfortable in this one, AJ.
It was really well executed this time. I mean, they did in the previous game as well, but this is going really comfortable for them as of now. But Synchronic trying to make some play, hypercharge coming in from Ash King as well
Oh
as
no.
Trishant. It's enough to get a team wipe, and Upcore will take set number 3 as well and gonna have a lead of one set.
Oh no, that's not how you should be doing it to them. That Grim was crazy. Once he got that purple button, he completely destroyed all of the members of Synchronic. They were on the point, but he's like, so what? I'm just going to keep cycle my super. And this is why you want the Griff. This is why you want the Griff against a healer tank composition. And in this map specifically, I mentioned that piggy bank is going to be giving them dividends as the walls break down, as the map opens up. You're going to have the Barry not being able to do as much from a damage perspective, but is able to get its super and roll through that. But with the Griff, you can get all of the heals that you want, but with 3 people on that point, that super is going to get so much value, and that's just what kept on happening over and over and over again. Beautiful stuff from Upcore Esports, from the draft to the execution as well.
I mean, the chaos was beautiful in the end. Everyone having those hypercharge popping it in and throwing at them. Now we have some stats from the previous match up here. 589 coming up from the Grave is, I mean, that's dangerous to see coming out. He has that hypercharge. He can just cycle it again and again. 3 kills, 4 kills coming up from Crow as well. I mean, not much value coming up from the Berry, but yeah, he was mainly supposed to be there for the healings. But the comp, the strategy didn't work out well because of the wall break coming up from the Grave and the hypercharge coming up from the Grave as well. I mean, pretty much all the teammates, because Grave. If you have the hypercharge of Kenji as well, it's just done then. And we have the draft for the next matchup, and it's going to be Heist.
Yep, and looking at the bans, we have a lot of the control options being banned out. You have Loa, Amber, RT, Bell, Amber, and Bull being banned out. Vex going to go for Lumi. I haven't seen Lumi being brought out much in competitive as of late. I feel like she has fallen off in the meta, but it is interesting that Synchronic opting for that Lumi ban a lot more often than not. They also go for that first pick for the Lumi, and Upcore Esports are liking that Kenji. They're feeling themselves, and they are up 2-1. So maybe this Kenji pick might be a pretty good one, especially the compositions that you're going to be facing on a map such as this one. Kenji should be able to roll through a lot of the opposition.
Yeah, like, I mean, most of the brawlers that you might pick on, high. Oh, we have the monkey coming in on the line. They probably take the inspiration coming up from Toxic Lotus there. I mean, great brawler. He deals so much damage on the save with star power. It's over like 4k damage, and with the with the damage K, you get up to 5k. You just can't leave that monkey alone in the save there. But Chuck coming up from Prime, Hiroshi with the melody. We have seen Hiroshi yesterday as well on the melody here. And I think Synchronic going it aggressive with this one. The Chuck with the rails coming up again and again. Hiroshi with the dashes. I mean, you don't have much defense with the Miko here. I'm really excited to see what the last pick is going to be as a response.
Yep. Ooh, we have Chuck, Miko. We have. I like this composition from Synchronic. They're able to get onto the point and I think that this is a pretty good comp, but Miko does a lot of damage. I feel like it's going to be quite base racy from Upcore Esports, but Synchronic is going to be dabbling with a little bit of defensive play, especially with Vex being on Lumi. Lumi does a lot of damage, but I feel like the defensive stuns are what's going to be really important for Lumi, especially with the gadgets to ensure that both Ash King and Yush can't get out of any of that position that they want to be in. But Miko, I feel like it's going to be largely underdressed. It's a hard brawler to address in this situation.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you just can't leave the Miko alone, as I said, mentioned in the. Wait, we have some damage already coming up from Upcore. Both teams dialing almost similar amount of damage on the save. The shield was already popped down, and the save from Upcore almost
Mhm.
half HP taken down from the save. Prime.
Yeah.
He has posed, placed his poles. And it's gonna be very annoying to face this. The shield has been popped down again, 50% on blue save, as far 16% on the red side.
Yeah, complete base race coming in from Synchronic GG. They don't
Oh,
care about anything other than the objective, and that's exactly what's happening here. And I feel like they played that one much better. I don't know why Upcore were on defensive duty at all. Kenji could have been on the defensive duty, but nobody else really needed to do that. So well played from the side of Synchronic to get that dub.
I mean, they really want to be in this competition, and they're doing so. They really don't care about what they do. Upcore is doing. They're just going for the objective directly, not caring much about the Miko because they know the shield is gonna be there, even if he's there alone, dealing so much damage. Together, Upcore, they just don't have much defense there. But this time, looks like Upcore has managed, two of this players to get on the save there, 50% to 73 now. It's not looking good as far for Upcore, but still we have time. You never know. This is the time. The Chuck is going to be a big problem because he just dashes around and, I mean, it's surely it should be enough for a synchronic, but you still never know. And they still have the opportunity coming up. Two brawlers on the line, but 0% already in the blue save. And synchronic takes set number 4. Sorry.
Indeed, great stuff coming in from Synchronic Gaming to tie it up at 2 apiece. We're going to go to set number 5, where it goes all the way down to the wire. So beautiful stuff coming in from Synchronic to respond to the aggression from Upcore Esports. I feel like Upcore Esports were a little bit lost in the sauce. They had an idea in mind, and they just couldn't get themselves out of that pigeonhole. So unfortunate for them. But if you look at all the sets, it's just dominance from either team, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. So it's back and forth and back and forth. But looking at it from a pattern, maybe Upcore win the next one. I don't know, but it's going to go down to the wire regardless. Whoever wins this set is moving on to the competition, and we have to say goodbye to the ones who lose this coming set.
I mean, it's always thrilling when the matchups, go to the 5th set. It's a lot of chaos. It's a lot of show putting up on the line. And seems like it's going to be bounty for the last one. I mean, both teams trying their best to stay in the competition. $3,000 on the line. And it's a lot of, it's a big amount to get distributed among the teams. And But it's not over for either teams. It's a do or die situation at the moment. Whoever takes the set is going to against Revenant in the lower bracket, and will decide with that one who's going to go to the grand final as well. But it's a do or die situation. They have to draft it well. Bounty for the last one. What do you think about the maps?
Yeah, we have Hideout, Layer Cake, and Shooting Star on this map pool for bounty. Hideout, a lot of different walls, a lot of cover as well. It is really good to go brawlers that can pull people like Jean or Gray. As a result, they might be banned out if people don't want those kind of shenanigans. I have seen time to time some Leons coming out as well. Piper, you have some throwers as well. So a lot of different ideas involved. In the previous meta, we saw so much of Ollie, so it is interesting to see how it has fallen off a little bit. And we have layer cake. So this map, very, very cagey, a lot of grass, a lot of walls as well. Looking at our bands, we have Kenji, Lumi, Hank, Juju, and Gray. So the one brawler to pull is out, which is great. And as a result, Synchronic Gaming going for the Gene pick. I feel like you can't go wrong with a Gene on a map like this, and Yash going for the bow, a little bit unorthodox, but if you can get those hypercharged supers on, the enemy backlines, then it's going to be hard for enemies to go back in a defensive formation. So I don't like this first pick from Upcore Esports, but I understand a little bit of the merits that it could have as they pick up this Carl here, AJ.
I mean, I really like the, Juju ban because it's a very annoying brawler considering we have the grass, get the range, we have the water as well to escape from the side just in case. Ash King with the brawler that I personally like as well playing, on this map. You have that fire trace to get the damage. I mean, beautiful pick by Hiroshi. Oli is a very good brawler in this map, along with Prime with the Buster to just dish out the damage back to the opponent. Vex with the Gene. I really like that as well. I mean, Gene super is not really hard to farm. You can just do the poke damage and get it right away, but it does take time, and you just can't afford to miss that one. And it's just important. It can be a nail in the coffin if you miss that.
Yeah, I like the way you said it. It might be the final nail in the coffin. And Prashant opting for this Barley here. Obviously, Barley can, put his attacks over the wall, but having a thrower into this composition with Hiroshi on the Ollie and Vex on the Gene, it's a little bit ill-advised because, Hiroshi can easily go in with a super, use his gadget, pull people away. Buster can clean them up. Buster is also pretty fast because he's a tank, right, in the grass. And then when you use his slow-mo replay which is his gadget, he's able to pull people back, slow them down, and get kills. So I feel like there are a lot of hazards for Upcore Esports against the synchronic draft here. And honestly, I don't like the picks a lot. We're going to go into game number 1 off the 5th and final set of our first match of the day between Upcore Esports versus Synchronic GG. The winner of this is moving on to the semi-finals of the lower bracket, and the loser of this is out of the competition already. A first kill coming in by way of Synchronic GG, and Upcore Esports had the blue star, but have since capitulated to the pressure coming out from Synchronic.
I mean, you just really have to maintain this distance. Prime already with the super charged up. You have to respect that. Vex has his super as well to just dish out the damage back to the enemy. Hiroshi, one nice super can be enough to get Yash. He's trying to come closer. Yash with the super to get the area control. He jumps. He gets stunned by the bow mines, and beautiful kill coming up from Yash as well. And they're gonna take the star lead.
Indeed, great stuff coming in from Upcourt to, change that lead here. They are up in 1 star and a minute left in this game here. So there is still a path forward, especially with the utilities that Synchronic GG could bring to the table. You could get the pull from Prime, but those mines are a little bit of a concern. One of them being tripped up by Vex, and now that they know where the 5 mines are, they're probably not going to force the issue. They still don't need to really go in until the last 15-20 seconds here, and as the time does whittle down, it's going to be a big hazard for Synchronic to get into position, especially since Prime doesn't have a super at all.
Yeah, they're respecting the bow mines because they know it. They are here. Hypercharge popped by Vex. He's coming closer. He's gonna get a pull on Yash. Nice little kill there. Also, Hiroshi with a nice jump. He tries to escape, but is not looking in a good position. He tries his super. Ash Gang will not find the kill. Hiroshi just barely manages to survive.
That was
Beautiful
crazy.
stuff right there. I mean, that was crazy jump right there from Hiroshi. That escape, and even the call couldn't get that kill. That was so crucial at the last moment.
Yeah, we're gonna go into game number 2 of this 5th set here. Synchronic up by 1 on match point with some theatrics from the Ollie there. I don't think many people expected that, especially since Prime didn't have a super. It felt like Synchronic might not have a way forward, but like I mentioned, Ollie is a huge hazard. He's going to be going in once more against Yash. Not able to bamboozle him just yet. The blue star has been claimed early on by Upcore, especially makes sense since they do have a Carl in this situation. Vex going to be very aggressive, forcing his way onto the point, keeping a little bit of pressure up to ensure that Upcore can't bamboozle them once more.
Yeah, super popped out by Yash. Ball coming in from Yex. Not a kill yet, but Ash King finds it after using that flying hook. Beautifully taken down. 3-star lead. 0 on side of Synchronic. Hiroshi really needs a super. Vex has a super as well. He really needs that hypercharge to just go aggressive, right? Just to get, some pulls there and get some kills. Super also available for the Gene. He just can't afford to miss that. He really gets it once in a blue moon. Vex pops a super to create some space for his team. The bow mines are there. He might
Oh
get stunned.
no!
He gets stunned. There might be a kill and an elimination on Vex. Is beautiful right there.
Great stuff from Upcore Esports, but I feel like that's more of a misplay from Synchronic. Oh, big pull coming
Oh,
in. Prime able to
big
connect that
pull.
onto Yash, but Ash King finding a response on a Vex, finds another onto Prime, and Upcore are running away with this one. 8-gem lead here. 8-star lead, rather.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing it really well this time. I mean, it's a do or die situation. You just can't afford to lose because it's a match point situation. Prime has a super.
Mm-hmm.
One massive pull can be enough to get the lead. He really needs a push on Ashkin. He has the most star as well as he escapes with a flying hook. He has his hypercharge. He gets the kill. Bowmines gets the kill as well. Vex goes down 18-7. Will give Upcore a big, nice lead and a win.
Indeed, now it is double match point between our two adversaries. Upcore Esports at 2-set wins. Synchronic at 2-set wins. Both of them have won game 1 here. It's going to go down to the wire to this last game here between Upcore Esports and Synchronic. The winner is going to be progressing. The loser is out for permanent deaths here as we go into this game. And Blue Star already being picked up by Ash King. No surprises there, obviously, because he's using his flying hook gadget. It allows you to get onto that point, get the Blue Star, and dip out.
Both teams really finding blood to stay in the competition. Double match point. We're here all the way. And you just try to maintain the distance. Prime trying to poke some damage to get the super really early. Hypercharge being farmed by the Buster as well, staying with the Ollie there. Ash King trying to get some sneak in the right and left hand side of the map. I mean, it's pretty calm situation for both teams as of now. No one really willing to make the first play, but Blue Star has been picked by Upcore. That means the red team really have to come in and make a play, and they just can't afford to just stand. And I mean, Hypercharge available for Vex. He might make a play, but he has his team support. So the team really needs a super as well.
Yep, and you see Prime just trying to farm his super a little bit here. I think that right now they're just trying to get all of their utilities online here, AJ.
Yeah, I see things are, changing the scenario, the map. I mean, they have backed off. They really know that there might be a attempt to, steal all those kills in the back line because Synchronic desperately needs a kill. Even one kill is enough. They have to do something. Prime is
Mm-hmm.
still, there with no super. Vex has his hypercharge. I'm expecting Vex to come in with pop his
Yeah.
hypercharge with the gadget. One pull is enough. 17-second on the clock now. No team still. They're not trying to make a play. Vex is coming.
Hypercharge.
Hypercharge available. He places it. He has his pull. This is messy there. And 3-star lead 4. This could be the end. The
Oh
kill
no!
is
Oh
divine.
yes!
Goes on as well in the
Wow!
last moment. And Upcore Esports take the win in the very last second.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was beautiful coming in from Upcore Esports. Synchronic Gaming, they had all the cards there. There was also a kill, but unfortunately, they went in a little too early. If they pushed back and delayed their advance, they might have been in the lower bracket finals. But unfortunately, today they are falling by the wayside, and it's going to be the first team in this tournament who is going to be exiting from this competition. So congratulations to Upcore Esports, but they're now facing off against Revenant X Sparks. So, you're going from the fire, the frying pan and the fire here in this situation. So I don't envy them, but I feel like this is good for them. They're progressing in the competition. That means they're going to get more money in the prize pool. That's more money for everybody in the Upcore Esports team. So, that's great for them. Synchronic GG, on the other hand, I feel like they definitely had a way forward to win this. They had some winning drafts, but they capitulated. So I feel like Upcore are more of a well-rounded team. As we look into our stats here, what do you think about what we are seeing here?
I mean, 0 kills from the Buster. I'm pretty sure that's not the case because I think he got some kills there as well as the bow. But not much TPS coming up from both sides. We see Barley because he was able to outrange and get some damage from far behind there. I mean, the gene was, very much required. The pull was very much required. I think in the second matchup, they really waited for the last push, and it was kind of risky because you just can't afford to decide to make a play in the very last moment,
Hmm.
and just depend on luck. And I mean, I wanted to see Revenant and Upcore again. Sorry about that, Synchronic, but we're getting that prime matchup again. And will Upcore get the revenge on Revenant X Pac for yesterday?
Yeah, and that's something that I do want to see, but it's going to be the lower bracket finals. And before we get into that, we're going to take a 3 minute break. We're just waiting for all the teams to come together to be in our lobby so we have a little bit more of a smoother transition. So we'll see you after 3 minutes after we take a short break, chat. It's good to have you here. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Upcore Esports Champions League, the UCL 2025, the better UCL. Let's call it what it actually is. And I'm your host, Panicast, Code Pan, joined by the amazing AJ7. We had a banger matchup for you in the first one. It was Upcore Esports versus Synchronic Gaming, which Upcore Esports took it in a 3-2. It was a very close game. You had the sets going back and forth, where both teams were beating the other team in a complete wipe in each of the sets, except for the last one, and where it went down to the wire. And it seemed to me, at least, that Synchronic Gaming were almost on the cusp of victory, but they kind of cheated themselves by dying too early at the last few seconds. So that's definitely going to give them a little bit of whiplash, but they're out of this tournament, which is unfortunate for them. Here, though, Upcore Esports, our flagship team for this tournament, is going to go up against the Revenant X Spark, and I feel like this is going to be a very interesting match here. Yesterday, we saw Upcore Esports go 1-2 against Revenant Spark. We were going to go in the fourth set, and it seemed and promised to be a very close game, but unfortunately, there were some issues with the draft, and it was awarded to Revenant X Spark. So we get a little bit of that rematch that we're looking for. Maybe some revenge as well by Upcore Esports as they face against this Revenant X Spark composition and team. It's not going to be easy, though, by any means, AJ.
Yeah, definitely. And Revenant and Upcore, we basically know that one of the team is going to the grand final against Monarchy, and both teams, put a great fight against each other. They couldn't make out yesterday Upcore Esports because of the, unintentional pick that they might have done accidentally, but they have to pay off with the set loss. And now we're gonna get the rematch that we're looking for. Revenant X Spark, absolute banger, absolute classic in this region. Really looking for some chaos, and let's hope for a set 5 as well for more show.
Indeed. And just for people joining us who haven't seen the rest of the competition, the way this works is that we know what sets we're going to be having. We're going to have Brawl Ball. We're going to have game modes, at least. We're going to have Brawl Ball first, followed by Gem Grab, then Hot Zone. And to cap it off, if we require it, we're going to have Heist and Bounty. But within each of these guaranteed game modes, there are a pool of maps which we might be privy to. One in Brawl Ball specifically, we have Pinhole Punt, Sneaky Fields, Super Beach, and Triple Dribble. What I like about the map selection is that there are a lot of different ideas that you could opt for with the draft just because of the map layout. So that's a pretty good shout by the production team and the admin team to select these maps. But these are also the BSC maps, so it's not that surprising, all things considered. But it's going to promise us a lot of different strategies which are going to be involved, and it's very hard to prep for a tournament such as this with the sheer staggering number of maps here. So you just have to go in with like a open mind and hope for the best here.
Yeah, definitely. And Brawl Ball being one of the game modes that are, that can be just finished quickly, just like Upcore did. I mean, those were some quick games that we got to see Upcore versus Raven on day one, the first matchup. And I mean, it's still chaotic to see. It's really fun to see how they position themselves, how they draft, how they, make use of how they execute it. And, I mean, Brawl Ball is personally my favorite game mode. I'm really looking for this banger, the classic El Clasico, and in Brawl Ball. And the map pool, I mean great maps, OG maps, and really looking for some show coming up from us. Revenant versus Upcore, whoever wins the game goes to the grand final against Monarchy.
Yeah, Monarchy just sitting pretty there. They got in through the upper bracket, didn't really face, they faced stiff competition. Obviously, they went up against both Synchronic and Revenant X Spark, but they're in a place where they don't really have to worry all that much. Even if they lose in the upper bracket, even if they lose in the grand finals, there is a reset possibility because they haven't lost a single match. Every team has to at least be given one life in a double elimination tournament such as this one. But right now, it's going to be Upcore Esports versus Revenant Esports, and it's promising to be a pretty good matchup here. If you just look at Revenant, I mean, for people who are uninitiated with how these tournaments happen, Revenant X Spark has Sergeant Clash, X9J, Response. All these players are really good, have been in multiple world finals for a few of them. X9J, one of the most mechanically gifted players, and really good at draft as well from this Remnant X Spark side. Yes, it is predominantly a Singaporean composition and a Singaporean team here, but they're going to be going up against a completely Indian roster of Ash King, Prashant, and Yash. So Upcore Esports, it's your Indian gang in the chat. You can probably support them. But honestly, I would say everybody should support everybody.
A great point, that keeping in mind that all of these players are experienced so much. I mean, I believe Ash King is the only one who didn't get to play LAN, but rest all of the ones, they have played LAN. Revenant, we have Response, former world champion 2020, and he have played a couple of more world championship as well. And Sergeant being one of the top players in the region, dominating in every monthlies, and he's getting into the lands. He got into World Championship 2023 as well. He have played in Tokyo DreamHack as well. I mean, all of these players are so much experienced. They're mechanically so insane. Just gonna see how the draft goes, and I mean, they have some teammates, ex teammates as well in the opponent, and you know. I'm excited to see for the El Clasico matchup to start up.
Yeah, and see, Upcore Esports has already gone through an elimination game, so they are probably quite wired. They have their adrenaline up. They went to a double match point match against their previous opponents today, so they're definitely going to be wired. Let's see if that momentum is going to be carrying them forward, or are they going to be stressed out and tired out and mentally checked out after that very, very close matchup against Synchronic. Revenant X Spark, they need to bring something to the table to show us that they can operate at the levels that we expect them to, right? They aren't showing us the metal that they have. They aren't showing us how great of an organization and a team that they are. And hopefully we get to see this here in this fixture. But I think it's going to be a really good matchup.
Yeah, definitely. Meanwhile, Monarchy chilling in the grand final slot in the bracket. They're just waiting to see how the composition goes as well. They're studying probably as well the opponents they might get to see in the next one. Draft coming up, we have Sneaky Fields, really nice map. I'm surprised to see no Primo being banned up, and Response with the first pick already. The Chester is really great one to start off. He has a good hypercharge. He has so much damage. Ash being banned, Chacky, and Hank triple tanks being banned from Raven and X Park, Kenji, Lumi, as well as Chaeyoung being banned from Upcore.
Indeed. I like this Chester pick here. It's going to be able to take down a lot of the tanks that you see, but a lot of the tanks have already been banned out. Chester can also break a lot of the grass. It's going to be great for sneaking. I feel like one of the biggest reasons you want to take Chester on this map is the sneak potential is crazy. Chester has a lot of burst damage output, so it's going to be a pretty safe bet to say that anybody going up against Response on lane is going to be struggling. Yush is going to be bringing out the Finks. I like the Finks. When you put down that super, it speeds up your projectiles. It makes it harder for the enemy's projectiles to hit you because they're slowed down massively so it's going to give a lot of control for Upcore Esports when they have that utility in their back pocket. Prashad bringing out the Otis. Now, I don't like the Otis all that all things considered, but I feel like Upcore Esports rate this one quite highly. They played this one against their opponent Synchronic earlier in this day, so maybe they understand what they need, especially with this composition.
Yeah, also, I do believe that Otis is a great counter to any upcoming comp that they're expecting. Meanwhile, Squeak coming up from Revenant, nice brawler to get the area control. Sometimes you have the gadget, you can just slow enemy down even with their super star power. I mean, great brawler, but I think Yash still it will help Yash a lot with super, because the projectile will be slowed down. I mean, Finks is a great brawler to just get rid of that attack coming up from Response. You can just because it's very annoying to face that. X9J with the tank, I mean, it's a tank that can resist the super coming up from Trishant. I mean, still you have to time it so well. Ash King has the last one. Let's see what comes out.
Ooh, we get the Griff coming out here. I like this Griff,
Mm.
especially with the composition that we see. Buster is great on this map, right? But with the Griff, you break open a lot of the walls, and I feel like that removes a lot of the competitive viability of Squeak, as once the map opens up, it's going to be harder to really get things going. But I feel like early game, it's going to favor Revenant and Sparks massively so because of the amount of aggression that they can bring to the table. So you expect Revenant and Spark to go all in, hold W, and completely overwhelm Upcore Esports.
I mean, yeah, both the teams have damage. I mean, Ash King with the hypercharge has a little bit of extra fan following, probably. I mean, as a brawler. I mean, Kref is being meta for so much time now after getting that hypercharge. It's really great. Wall break already coming up. There's some kills coming already. Revenant looking in a nice position. They're taking control in the mid, and UPC has to back off. Trashan falls low, gets a kill on Ash King. Super coming up from
Ooh.
response. That will be a goal for Revenant. Early goal, and that will give them a first goal lead.
Yeah, 20 seconds in, already Revenant off the mark here. They're off to the races here. Of course, Esports need to do something here. Ooh, big super from Prashant. He's going to be able to
Ooh.
break open the wall as well, but going to be found out by X9J in a very difficult situation, which was a catch-22 situation, obviously. But right now, of course, Esports not in the mid, but they have grass control of the map here so far. And Yash going up against Response. It's not going to be an easy matchup for him, all things considered. There is a super coming in. Response should find Yash here with the help of X9J, as they do, but the trade is going to be huge. Now, Ashkin can go on the advance here against X9J, but all things considered, it's a pretty decent defensive play from Revenant.
I mean, having the burst is gonna give so much value with that defensive point of side. You know, he has his hypercharge available as well. Eventually, he'll get his super as well, staying with X9J there. Yash has his hypercharge as well, has to time it well. I mean, ball has been cornered. They need to find that super coming in from Trishant by standing on that Feng super as well. This can be a scoring opportunity. Ash King has been stunned. There's no goal just yet. Coming up for Upcore. He's gonna break open the wall there. He goes down.
Ooh, that's a good defensive play coming from Revenant Esports. They're going to be using the SK Classic, as I like to say, corner ball if you have an advantage here in Brawl Ball. And this is looking good for them. They get the kill on Ash King as well. Yash on the left-hand side trying to find Response, but Response is perfectly content on this, standing behind the wall. They get the kill on Yash as well. Revenant Esports right now, I feel like they're doing a quest. They're just farming kills from their opponents.
Yeah, great hypercharge coming, connects well on Trashan. He goes down. Yash is also low. He falls down to the hypercharge as well. Responds with the super. It's enough to give Revenant game number 1. I mean, that was beautiful stuff, right? They're still farming the kills. They're not leaving them alone. They're still farming the kills, knowing the fact that it's an easy win already for them. The ball is in a very comfortable position, and they'll just find the goal pretty easily. I mean, the game in general.
Yeah, the damage quests are done. There's no question about it. But the question which is on everybody's mind right now is, can Upcore Esports, disturb the established order? Can they ruin the status quo right now? And let's see how this one goes. Already we have the gadget from X9J in the mid. The first game went to Revenant Esports and already in a great spot. Can Upcore come back here? Sergeant trying to do something against Ash King. Should be able to get the kill here. Yash, the last one alive on his team. He tries to go for the ball there for the clear, not able to do so in that situation. And things are looking from bad to worse for Upcore Esports.
I mean, definitely. And I would say Squeak is a very underrated pick, especially in Brawl Ball in a map like. I mean, he's really good in this map, of course. He just can scout out enemy in the grass. He's getting that value that they're actually trying to find for response with the hypercharge, try to make a play. Yash has a super though to shut things down, but it's not going to use it yet because it's not necessary. He goes it, he gets this shot down, but it's not going to enough to get the kill. X9J falls low. He has to back off as well. I mean, pretty similar. To the previous game. Nice kill coming off from Ash King and the Finks as well. And the ball is still in the corner. And I mean, they're still doing the same shenanigans.
Yeah, the SK special, as I call it, is still very much on display here. Sergeant's a bit too worried about where the ball is going to be because of Prashant corners it even further back. So that's great for them. Catch me pop by Ashkin to go back here. Super coming in from X9J. Does it connect? It does connect. Ashkin going down. Yush's I don't know, on a mission to get response. And he's opened up the back lines. He should be able to get the goal here if he gets some help with Prashant here. Yash in a kind of a situation where he's being a messiah for his team, but finally is going to be taken down by the Buster. No, he gets the mute off on a response, and Yash on a one-man mission. Prashant gets the ball. He should be able to pass it to Ash King, who got slowed down by that super. And X9J just covering all the bases. Revenant cannot be denied against Upcore.
I mean, beautiful stuff coming up. I mean, Trishant is just being annoying, breaking all those walls, and Sergeant is not able to do the escape thing he's trying to do. So he's still keeping the ball away. He's not coming up just yet. Trishant with the hypercharge, he will find a kill there. Nice coming up. I mean, the ball is still in a very safe corner, and the defense point of sight from Revenant is, I think, really strong at the moment. Hypercharge coming in. Sergeant gets a kill as well. 9 seconds is just not enough for Upcore to take the set.
Yeah, it felt like from the very outset, Upcore Esports were playing from behind. I felt like, yes, the Squeak and the Buster were going to do great, especially with the Chester as well in the back pocket. But there were so many instances where Upcore Esports weren't able to break open the map enough. I feel like there are a lot of walls in this map in very important and pivotal positions where if you don't break them up, it's going to give Squeak so much more value. And knowing that they were going up against the Squeak, the fact that they weren't able to break all those walls as fast as they wanted to, especially with the number of gadgets that you have, is kind of crazy. I also have to mention the fact that Chester, you never saw him break open any of the walls. So that made sure that they kept their win condition intact the entirety of the game. So this wherewithal to keep track of what they need to do is so important for Revenant Esports as we go into our match stats here, AJ.
Yeah, not enough kills coming up from Trishant. He was just focused primarily getting on that hypercharge, but Response had his hypercharge, as well to keep things off. Damage, as we say, I mean, it's pretty evened out. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty similar from both sides. Nice 394 coming up from the Finks. It's pretty even out from both teams. Kill stats, I would say it's still more of in Revenant point of sight, but yeah, they were farming the kills as you mentioned. They were doing the damage quest, but even after keeping the ball in the very safest position, it felt almost like they were doing the damage quest for the next upcoming season as well in advance.
I didn't expect that at all. That's nicely put. We're gonna go into our draft here in the second set. Revenant won the first one, so they're sitting pretty right now. And look in the bands, they have Lumi, Kenji, Jay Young, with Hank, Ash, and Gray being banned out from Revenant Esports. So Revenant X Spark don't want those shenanigans. They don't want those last second plays as much. One of the biggest pole brawlers, which is Gray, is removed from the equation. Response going to be bringing out the Chester, and Chester is great for just in general. I feel like with a lot of the grasses could be pretty good, but it's great answer to a lot of the tanky oppositions that you can probably see. Gus coming out, beautiful mid brawler, beautiful brawler for having your shield up, keeping your tanks a little bit more healthy because they have those shields. It focuses a lot more aggression, especially once you get your abilities online. And with the Quickie Popper, you can get those pivotal kills. But this is Hard Rock Mines, so I don't see a mid coming up from Revenant Spark just yet.
I see why Ash is being banned. I mean, looking at Yash in the open end, it was pretty obvious ban coming from his side. I've seen him picking Ash pretty much in every tournament where a tank is viable option. Response with the response of Chester, yet again from Revenant X Spark. Ash King, really nice counter as well. He can just get rid of the damage that he gets in, but the montage is there. Sergeant, gonna go for some aggression with that Daryl coming up. I mean, he's still really, Yash has a super, that gives so much shield, gets the knockback as well. I think so far so good. I still like the Gus, mashed up with the Buster. It's really beautiful to see. X9J though, with the Tara, hypercharge is all what he needs.
I like this Terra pick. The hypercharge is great. I feel like you're probably gonna have I can't really figure out who's going to be the gem carrier. I guess it's going to be the Terra because once she gets the gravity, she's going to be pretty secure. But long range disparity is going to be something for Revenant to be a little worried about, considering what they are going up against, which is Gus and Prashant bringing out the Nita. Nita great for wall peeking, especially once you get your bears up. That Daryl's not going to be doing as much. Ashking's going to be decent into the Terra as well. All-rounded comp from both sides. I mean, both sides. I would say more from Upcore because Revenant and Spark don't have a classical mid. So let's see how this plays out for them.
Yeah, Revenant with all pretty much lane brawler, one of them will have to force, to play the mid and be the gem carrier. It's as you mentioned, I think it's gonna be the Tara having that gravity pull to be in a safe side. Ash King can get rid of the Tara shade. He can just get rid of the projectile coming up from response as well. Nice pick, and needs a great response because the Bruce is gonna be so annoying for them to face. They have to back off when she'll be put down. First gem has been picked by Revenant, but you know we still can't say anything. It's just the start of the game. Seems like gem carrier is going to be the Chester from Revenant X Park, and
Yep.
Trishant is pretty obvious for the gem carrier.
Beautiful stuff from Remnant Esports to get the few gems at the start here. There's a roll from the Daryl, so expect the Daryl to go and try to get 1 or 2 kills, maybe on Ash King, maybe on a Prashant. I feel like Ash King is an easier mark earlier on until he gets a super. Once he gets a super, though, it's going to be harder for Daryl to really do much. And right now, Daryl isn't really doing anything other than being a super fodder for the other team. X9J gets his super. He also has 4 gems to his name. Daryl going in, Response finding one of the kills, and Response is a signature brawler in 2020 when he won the World Finals was Daryl. I remember he won the last set on Canal Grande with this specific brawler, so he is quite adept. And as I say that, Caster's Curse, Yash going in, Hypercharge might be popped here. 2 kills though, big kill from X9J to stymie a little bit of this pressure as Ash King goes down here, AJ.
Yeah, also no connection from the gadget from Trishant. He really needed that kill on Sergeant, but it just was not well timed kill coming on X9J. That is big super coming up from Tara as well. Hypercharge has been popped by the Daryl, but the Bruce is doing his job. This was the Hypercharge one as well. Super coming up from, we just don't know yet with super. Chester has response with the dive in. He gets the kill. He still has a super. Will he do another super on the Brawl opponent? He will get it in. The super was there from the Gus as well. Response is running away very carefully, keeping that 8 gems on top of his head.
See, this is where the experience and wealth of land situations for Response really plays his card there, because he went in onto Ash King knowing Ash King was alone, got those gems and put Revenant in a decent spot. But now once more Revenant are backed up here. They have lost a member, and it's going to be a 2v2 here. Roll coming in. Response gets taken down, but so does X9J. And that's going to be a response coming in from Upcore Esports to get it at a 1-1 game line.
That was a beautiful Chester connection. Only if they had some more time, they would have got the kill with the poison damage. But it was not just enough. Also, Tara fell down as soon as she popped her hypercharge. She couldn't get the value from hypercharge super. She fell down. I mean, X9J, nice gadget already for the beginning. He got his healing. It's just luck based for that. Ash King is gonna wait for some brawlers to come in the range because he's getting outranged pretty much for everyone except the Daryl. But he just can't go against the Daryl just yet. He needs his bruise, and gems evened out as so far. Sergeant is gonna be the gem carrier, or I'm not sure as for now. Hypercharged. I mean, response with the super, not much value. He has to go back.
Yeah, Response went in with the super. He was so close to taking out Yash, but Yash didn't get taken out. But I don't know what Yash decided to do. He had it. He was like, what's the term in Hindi? Abel mujhe maar. That's exactly what happened. And Yash gonna go in with the super here. He could use it there, but Sergeant has his gravity, goes for it, and he tries to find a kill, but the super comes online for Yash at the right time. Beautiful stuff from Upcore Esports. But still, it's a 5-gem lead for Revenant.
I mean, Daryl doing his job, just diving in, get some damage. Hypercharge has been popped. Trishant stays alive. It's still looking good. Bruce has been dropped on as well. He's going to give some value to, back up. Give some space. Yash finds the kill on Sergeant. Response really has to get his super again to make some play. They're not looking good in a good position. 5 gems, 6 gem to 7 now. I mean, UPC still have a lot of time to collect those gems that that they might spawn while the interaction is being done in the Revenant point of spawn side. Hypercharge is all what Sergeant needs. He has it, but not the super yet. No connection from X9J with the super as well.
Ooh, montage being brought out by Yash, but Response can just walk right through that, and that's what he did. It's gonna be a 9-8 gem line, pretty close here, but just look at Sergeant Clash. He has a purple button, goes in. He should be able to pull Yash. He goes for that kill, finds it as well. Prashant has his hypercharge popped in, uses his super as well, finds a shield on Ashgate, who might not be taken down here by Response. It's gonna be a 10-9 game here, and I feel like Upcore surely should be able to get the reset, but gravity from Sergeant, and it looks like Prashant anticipated it because Prashant has played with Sergeant in the past, so he knows all of the bells and whistles, all of the tricks that Response can bring and Sergeant can bring. Big super coming in from X9J, finds his mark on an Ash King, but it's not going to be enough. 2 gems are required. A kill on either Yash or Prashant. Yash is going to be low, and X9J knows it, but it's not enough time. If he had 3 more seconds, it would be enough. But that is going to be Upcore Esports taking game number 3 and set number 1 here. Sorry, set number 2. Sorry, my bad.
I mean, they just could have waited for they could have just waited for the gem to spawn because only 1 gem was required and it was in the spawn, I guess. I mean, the Bruce was doing a great job. I mean, it's just an AI thing here, and it was almost playing like a brawler, getting all this value, keeping the Daryl behind. And I mean, that was beautiful stuff from both the teams. But the hypercharge connection was precise from X9J. Wasn't able to get some value in terms of kills, but it was really keeping them low again and again. And real nice played both teams, and set has been taken already.
Yeah, what I like about this is that some of the members in both the rosters have played with each other, so they understand the play styles a lot. Obviously, I see a lot of people in chat, fighting about, oh, our region better. But if you look at what happens behind the scenes, all the teams participate against each other. They play scrims with each other. They know everything about each other, so there isn't as much beef as you think. It's all in the mind of the players, the peanut gallery, as you may say, and we're going to go into our third set here. It's tied at 1 apiece, Revenant and Upcore. They got 2-0 and 2-0 for either of them. So whichever sets that they did win was quite dominant here, as now we're going to be, back to parity. It's going to be a sudden death situation, and we are tied at 1 apiece. So that's how things are right now.
Yeah, I mean, Hot Zone is gonna be the next one. We have some map pool. We have Ring of Fire that we might get on the line. I mean, that's a really great map to play on because it teaches really well how to stay passive on the right hand side and the cross part, and it's a pretty important. It teaches a lot about lanes as well. But still, Ring of Fire, open zone, open business, and dueling beetles is going to be the one that is available for the map pool. It's going to be about the match rotation, so we just can't say yet. But the game mode in general is so fun because it's so much chaos in one specific area. We get to see specific comps like Berry for the healings and all that, and just excited about the map and the draft itself.
Indeed. Maps. Okay, personally, I would love to see Ring of Fire. I think it's one of my favorite maps, but I wouldn't be against watching something on Dueling Beetles either. Open Zone, not one of my favorite maps. I do not like to see that map. Open Business, I'm fine with it, but we just saw it in the previous match. So I'm hoping the RNG gods, the gods of luck, shine down on me and give me that Ring of Fire. Please, I need it.
I mean, definitely. Ring of Fire is a map where it's so much chaos because there's not much space, to dodge there because it's just the middle and, on the side. Okay. It's not going to be Ring of Fire, unfortunately, but we're going to go with this OG map right in front of us. I mean, great area control brawler. Blue has been pegged already from Revenant X Spark. Talking about the bans, we have B, Barley, Grave, really great one because they're really scared for the hypercharge, and Jaeyoung, also the Lumi as well as the Kenji really makes sense to me.
Yeah, I like the Lu. I don't like the Draco as much as the Kenji. Ben makes a lot of sense here. We still don't have that gray Ben, and honestly, I think that Revenant Spark could go for that gray pick at the end, but they're going to be a little worried because I feel like Barry could be brought out by Upcore Esports and bringing it in conjunction with a Frank. So yeah, I like that a lot. And Barry's going to be coming out for Ash King. I don't think that's rocket science to understand that.
Yeah, definitely. It should be a Hank coming on the line. We still have Draco on the other side. He has the immunity. He can just pop his super again and again to get healings. But I am still expecting a Hank coming up because obviously there's a Drake. I mean, this Perry is already on the line, and I mean, it's a Frank, okay? It's gonna be the Frank, okay? I mean, it still works, but Hank is gonna come as well. So basically, Perry is gonna dish out all his ice creams on the zone to keep the brawlers opponents away, as well as the healings coming up for the both tanks. It can be devastating, but do you think it's a risky, pick to go for the last one?
For which one? Which one specifically? Upcore or Revenant Spark?
For Upcore, like double tank on the berry is nice, but do you think, are they risking it, or they could have got a different brawler for the last one?
I honestly think that they're not risking it. They have so much of bulk, but yeah, there is a way forward for Revenant Spark to get something going because the Lu could get those stuns off. You have the hypercharge supers from Sergeant. The Draco is the most underwhelming part of this composition from Revenant Spark. Upcore Esports have so much of HP that I don't really think that Revenant are going to be able to deal, but I could just eat my words. They could have the best gameplay ever and the best response as we go into our third set here between Upcore and Revenant Spark on dueling beetles. Prashant being very aggressive, super coming in. Yash connected on response, but is he able to find the kill as well? Yash is kind of on a tear here. He's not going to be breaking the walls here, obviously. He's not going to be favoring his teammates here, but Ashkin getting taken down, it's going to be huge for Revenant Spark.
Nice super form in the loop to get that area. I mean, I really like the Crow as well. He's denying all the healings that the berry is providing. Hypercharge available for Yash. It can be big if it connects, but he has to make sure he's not stunned by X9J. He pops it in, he gets it in, he doesn't get response. Response still dishing out damage. Crow with the dive as well. This is looking absolute messy, and Prashant goes down. Revenant clearly looking good with the pressure off.
Yeah, great spot for Revenant here. They have complete control as well. Super coming down. And Hypercharge from Ash King. Super from Sergeant Clash. He has another Hyper Super. He's going to get so much of value. Yes, he's managed to get a few kills here. But is it going to be enough for a response going up against Prashant on the right-hand side? There are a lot of heals by that Berry Puddle, but not enough. Ooh, yeah, Ash King stunned once more. Super coming for Ash King. He finds the value onto Yash. Gets the kill as well. But he's going to be taking out Hypercharge from Blue, but I mean X9J, but they completely wiped the map out of Upcore Esports, who weren't really figuring. I felt like it would have been the other way around, but the end of the day, Revenant Spark will not be denied.
I mean, the double tanks were really struggling on that loose super the Strictly one. Also, the Crow, I have to talk about that hypercharge play. I mean, Bro is farming so much again and again. And I mean, it's the Crow is in the hands of Sergeant. So, yeah, no doubt about that. Ash King with the gadget to keep Sergeant alive. I mean, his teammate alive, I'm sorry. But it was just not well timed. Nice super coming up from Liu. He's creating all the pressure that they need. Response is low, but he has his super to get some healing. He'll dish out the damage. Ash King trying to make some pressure up in the zone. Hypercharge coming up from Yash. No connection yet. Response will stay alive with the immunity. Will eventually fall down. And the super from Crow as well. This is really good for Revenant so far.
Immaculate plays coming from Revenant Esports. I feel like the split push for Upcore isn't working out. I'm not sure why they're not doubling or tripling up on a lane and getting those heals from the Berry. If they do that, then they should be able to overwhelm the opponents. But as they're going up as 3 different people and not as a set piece, you could see Revenant address them one after the other. I feel like this set should not go the way of Revenant as effectively as it's going, and it's certainly an outplay, not really as much of an outdraft. I feel like the Brawlers aren't playing to the best potential that they could bring out here, as Revenant completely wiping Upcore off the face of the map. And as a result, they take a very swift set win. They're going to be up 2-1 in the set score and are just one set away from going to the grand finals.
Upcore still has the time. Will they do a sweep? That's the question. I mean, uh, the double tank was a good option, but the super coming up from Lu was enough to keep them backed up and hypercharged Crow. It was just chaining again and again. It was almost like the Mortis, as if you're just chaining on to people. We don't generally get to see a lot of double supers coming up from a Crow while being hypercharged, and really great play coming up from that side. But few connection. I think I only saw one connection from the Frank with a hypercharge. That to the second one was missed right after that. So yeah, talking about that, Revenant will take set number 3, and we're heading on to Heist.
Yeah, but I just feel like a little unsatisfied with what I saw with Upcore Esports in that previous set. So when they were pushing together as a team with a combined push, like as a death ball, 3 people in one lane, that's when Sergeant has his hypercharge super. And when Sergeant doesn't have his hypercharge super, which can pierce through all the enemies, they decide to go in a split lane push. And when you have a split lane push, the team from Singapore is good, happy to take you out one by one. It's easy pickings for them. Just look at the stats here, AJ. 526 DPS for a Lu is unprecedented. Yes, against the composition that they're going up against, not that unheard of. But the level of dominance coming in from Revenant X Spark in that match is definitely on display with those stats that we have on the screen.
Like the Parley was trying to heal up so much, throwing all those healings on his teammates, but the Lu super keeping them slipped off, backing off them. But Crow really well done there because of the anti-healing option that they had against the Berry. They predicted it, and they were doing really great with the pressure up creating. I think Revenant was the team that was doing team vibes again and again, and I think Upcore didn't even get a chance to do one. But the matter of fact, at the end of the day, winning is that what's matter, and Revenant gets it.
Yeah, they're up now by 1 set, so it's 2-1 favoring Revenant. So Upcore has been in a sudden death situation from the start of this tournament. Not that Revenant isn't from the start of this match day. Not that Revenant isn't, but they've already played an elimination game here. Just going back to the number of kills, Lu is very oppressive. The more tankier, the more healthier, the more sustained that a composition has. So it's not surprising that they get that many kills. But the DPS is kind of crazy, staggering. We're going to go into our draft here. The map seems to be safe zone on Heist, and looking at the bans, we have Miko, Lumi, Daryl, Chuck, Melody, and the Bell. So a lot of the dive brawlers removed from contention. So this is going to be a more controlled based draft that we should be seeing ideally. Upcore Esports opting for the Colette, and I don't think you can necessarily go wrong with the Colette, but with the changes to the Heist safe, I feel like it does make Colette less effective in certain scenarios because of the invincible Heist safe, but it's a pretty standard response against possible tank options or something else like that coming out from Revenant X Spark, but they opt for the bow in the scenario, AJ.
Yeah. Piper is still an option, and we have seen Piper a lot of times, even in competitive. In this map, Bell is a really nice ban, I believe. I would say, because it's a map where you have to stack a lot of times, and I think that's a nice ban there. But Colette, yeah, as you mentioned, she fell off in Heist in general because of the Heist change we got to see in the recent updates. And yeah, nice picks coming up. Sergeant coming up from the bow. I'm not really sure if you get that hypercharge placed on that high safe, it's gonna deal devastating damage. But you just have to reach there and have to make some space, because bow gets outranged by many brawlers that people pick here. And X9J coming up from the call. Big question is which gadget is gonna opt for, the fire trace or the flying hook, because it really changes the playstyle for the brawler itself.
Indeed, if you go for the fire, it's going to have a lot more damage than the safe. But since the nerf to the damage of the heat ejector, I think that maybe the flying hook might be pretty decent, but the body's coming out for Prashant. And, considering all of the brawlers that we have here, which were open, the fact that body was taken so late is kind of criminal here. Body great, especially now after the rework, where when you use her super, you jump down and you have the possibility of getting back into the cannon immediately, so you don't have that range disparity which Bonnie suffers from. So it also lets you get onto the point a lot more easier. And Ash King bringing out the 8-bit here in the mid, it's going to be so much of damage by Upcore Esports that Revenant and Spark might find it quite difficult to get onto the point, though they have X9J on the Carl that could do that same role for them.
The question for me is, will we get to see a Brock here? Because considering Ash King with the 8-bit, Brock is also very underrated here, because you can also get some area damage, and you get out the turret. But it seems like we're going to get to see a Perry coming up on that. I'm not really sure about this comp, because, it's not necessary to have a tank in your team for the Berry comp to work, but I think Berry will get outranged a lot of times. Yeah, he can throw his attacks on the ground, and that stays for longer, keeping the brawlers behind. But I'm not really sure about this comp, honestly, and I'm no one to judge the pro picks anyways. But seems like I really like the Upcore point of sight more personally. What do you think about that?
Well, I do like it, but I think that at this point, we need to see what the teams have brought to the table. How are they going to bring and operate this as we go into set number 4? Just 2 games away, Revenant is from the grand finals, and they're looking to get their bated breath as they have control of this mid. So far, no damage on either heist safe, so we're not off the mark just yet. It's all about farming your abilities. It's all about farming that super, and that's already what Sargent has done. He's just keeping X9J so healthy. Yush trying to find his super here himself, but so far not able to connect as many of the shots as he'd like.
Solid. Makes the first touch on the opponent side of say already takes 10% with that one super coming
No
up.
way.
Nice kills coming up.
No
That
way.
should be a wipe, but no. Response denies the death and stays alive, dealing so much damage on the safe. 74% to 85 now. I mean, it's still looking like they're gonna get back to the previous scenario, keeping X9J healthy enough with all those ice cream. This Dawn, he has his hypercharge, uses his super as well to stay alive. Ash King has his super. He's really looking his way to the safe, and he gets it to 75% as well. Hypercharge coming in from response. No connection on Yash. He actually gets the fire trace and he gets the kill.
He has taken out himself, and Ashkin goes down, but now Prashant in a very difficult position. He finds himself 6 feet under. Sergeant Clash has a super, uses it for a little bit of defensive capabilities. He doesn't want to be going in all the time. He's got his damage on the safe, and he's going to be dumping out of that situation here. He's going to get his super once more. Heals up Response. Response goes in, gets some damage onto Yush, and now we're going to see a little bit of advantage coming in. Hypercharge on the other side, 49% to 50, 35 seconds left. It is going down to the wire. We are at parity in terms of the high shields, 41 to 44. Very close game, just 3%.
Massive push coming up from Upcore Esports in the very last moment. No shield left over for the red side. Still one shield available for Upcore safe. Ash King is low. He pops his hypercharged.
Oh, no.
Berry coming up. The super is there. Also from the bow. It should be enough. Revenant takes game number 1.
Yeah, Revenant are now on match point here. Just 1 game away from making it to the grand finals to get their revenge on Monarchy. Upcore Esports not in the best spot here. They need to win the next 2 games on the trot to force set number 5, but Revenant are not going to let that happen. And here we go into game number 2 of this 4th set. Revenant, with bated breath, are trying to find their opponents down. They're trying to get their super here. And right now, the abilities are what they're looking for. They just need to get their utilities online once more, AJ.
infinite healings coming from Sarge and is just denying all the damage. I mean, he's taking all the damage, but he's kept farming his super eventually with the mechanics that Perry has. Response, Ultra trying to sneak in on the other side, trying to get some shots on Yash. He has to back off. Hypercharge coming in from Sarge and keeps them alive. Response is low, gets the kill. He stays alive as well. Trishant is forced to get a kill on Response and he finds it. Scarlet with the super on the save as well. Perry is doing a lot. Yash gets the kill on Trishant. I mean, Trishant
Yeah,
and Yash the same team. I'm really sorry about that.
it's good. Sergeant tried to go away with the super, but the jump from Yush was able to clean him up in that scenario. Minute 30 left, and we are at a pretty even game in terms of the shield. Both of them have the same amount of damage on the objective, but now damage rolling in from Upcore Esports. Yush on the safe in the small Leon form of Bonnie. Response going in with a super. There was a gadget pop by asking, but that's not going to be enough as Sergeant is going to be healing up Response all the way. But on the other side, the Bonnie is going to be on the safe, and the amount of damage that Bonnie can output is not going to be enough. Hypercharge coming in. Sergeant going to get a lot of value. Response is going to get so much more HP on the safe here, but still, it's Upcore in the advantageous position. In this situation, no! Response is able to get the kill. He gets the damage on the safe, and Revenant Esports have booked their berth in the finals to face off against Monarchy.
Oh my goodness me, what did you just do right there? The devastating damage. I mean, hypercharge Perry, hypercharge bow, everything they had, they just bought it and the safe at the same time. Damage after damage, and the safe was just melting like nothing. There was the shield though, but that was just popped on 2 times with just one interaction. Shows how much damage they were just dealing at that particular time. Bonnie couldn't do alone anything up there with no super available because she could have dealt damage a lot as well, but she was just alone and it was not enough to keep Upcore's team alive in their very own event, and they'll go home with that one.
Yeah, we have our stats here, and I feel like the stats may not be as indicative of how dominant Revenant X-Spark was. Prashant was forced just to be playing on defensive duty the entire time, and I feel like that's okay for what he had to do. We saw Ash in a lot of value on the objective, but Yash was struggling on lane against his opponents there. It seems like response it shows Lou, but he obviously played Carl, so that's not the truth there. But I want to see how much of HP Sergeant was able to heal up, because that's what it really comes down to. He just had so much of healing for response in X9J that they were able to get their supers, their hypercharges so effectively against their opponents, and it was just so difficult for them to really operate on the side of Upcore Esports because of just the amount of regression coming in from Revenant and X-Spark. And just with that game, we have to say goodbye to Upcore Esports as they are the second team to fall out in this tournament. But that has promised to set us up with a revenge final, Monarchy versus Revenant and X-Spark. Now, Monarchy have an advantage here. They are on the they qualify for the grand finals from the upper bracket. That means that if they lose this best of 5 against Revenant X-Spark, they have to do it all over again. So that means Revenant X-Spark have to win 2 best of 5 sets in order to make sure that they win the UCL Champions League, whereas Monarchy just need to win the one. And before we get back to that, we're gonna have a 3-minute break just for the teams to ready up and get together. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the final match of the Upcore Champions League. It is match day number 2. We are in our grand finals. It is going to be a matchup for the ages: Monarchy versus Revenant X Spark, the best two teams in this region who have completely destroyed all their opposition in this tournament. We've already lost Synchronic Gaming and Upcore Esports. Now it is up to Monarchy and Revenant Spark. The Revenant Spark has qualified for the grand finals from the lower bracket. That means that they need to win 2 best of 5s in order to win the entire thing. Obviously, Monarchy doesn't want that to happen. They do have 1 set of lives here, but they still need to win 1 best of 5 against possibly one of the best teams of all time in this region. So it's a very difficult task. It's a tall task, but they've done it once, and they did it in a very dominant fashion where they went 3-0 against Revenant Spark. So that's something that Revenant wants to get their revenge for. But once again, I am your host, Penicast, Code Pen. Make sure you use Code Pen at the shop if you're buying anything in any of the Supercell games. And I'm joined by my amazing co-caster, AJ7. He makes content on YouTube. His link is in the description, so make sure you go there and subscribe to him. He is an amazing individual, and I am so happy that you're here today, AJ. And what are you thinking about this grand finals? How are you excited for it? What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, first of all, thanks a lot for the shout out. And yeah, like Revenant and Monarchy, they're facing again, and Revenant probably looking for that revenge game again because in the upper bracket, they couldn't do much. They got swept by 3-0, and this time they really want to get them back, I guess, because Revenant being a team, they pretty much get first in regional competitions every time, and let's see that if UCL is going to be one of them that Revenant takes with the first crown as well, first place crown, or is it going to be Monarchy being this rising star of this one? And let's see how this goes. Really excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, despite Revenant Spark qualifying from the lower bracket, they're still the overwhelming favorites in this region to win to win it all. It is going to be harder for them, like we mentioned, that there is a little bit of a handicap there, but still very difficult for Monarchy to take this W. But if they do, going into the second half of the BSC and the impending LAN event that's going to be happening between India, or rather South Asia and Southeast Asia for the LPL, it's a very important match because it's going to set the tone for them, as these teams are not going to be facing each other in the LPL this week, and of course they're in different regions. But still, you like to see these teams match up. It's a little bit of like a fantasy playoffs or whatever. I like this a lot. I want to see how dominant these teams are. But just talking about the format, right? Or we have 5 different game modes here: Brawl Ball, Gem Grab, Hot Zone, Heist, and Bounty. And it is going to be in that order, but each of the sets, each of the game modes have a map pool to them, which is going to be randomly selected by Match Arena, who is our tournament partner as well. We are also partnered with Reconic Esports and also Supercell as well, which is why we have such a huge prize pool of $2,000 plus crowdfunding to a total amount of more than $3,000, if I am not incorrect here.
Yeah, there's a prize pool of 1K extra when it comes to crowdfunding as well. Brawl Ball is the matchup. I'm really excited because it's always the first one, coming in the sets, and it's my favorite game mode as well. Looking forward to it because it's and now that I was saying that Upcore versus Revenant was the El Clasico, but seeing the previous sweep by Monarchy over Revenant, I think this is gonna be an El Clasico as well, and it will be a great storyline. Seeing if just in case Revenant wins this as well, and they pretty much win every regional tournaments to be honest. But yeah, you just can't underestimate the other team at the same time because don't forget that they were the one who actually swept Revenant in the upper brackets. Can they do it again, or Revenant will take the revenge? Let's find out.
Indeed, and right now, like I said, it's going to be Brawl Ball, Pinhole Punt, Sneaky Field, Super Beach, and Triple Dribble are the maps, and a lot of different ideas and varieties of things that you could go for here, AJ. And what do you think about the different compositions that teams could opt for?
I mean, for personally, for Brawl Ball, I'm really looking for a Griff again as well. That hypercharge is really fun to see when it gets chained, especially. Also, we have a lot of chances of Kenji being picked if it doesn't get banned. In case, I'm pretty sure Lumi will be the one getting banned for sure. Because I didn't get to see any Lumi pick today because she was banned every time. And yes, that's going to be the case. Kenji, Hank as well banned out. Primo makes sense as well because we're going to have Pinhole Pond for Brawl Ball for set number 1 in the grand finals.
Indeed. And just looking at what we have for Monarchy, I like it. They have Jay Young, which is going to give them so much more adaptability. You're going to have a lot more aggression with the speed mode that he is in. You can also get the heals. Shran is going to be with the Chester, which is great on these side lanes. It's going to be going up against a lot of the tanks which might be coming out here, but the tanks that are banned out right now are going to be Hank and the Primo. And wow, we're going to get the Amber coming in from Revenant X Spark. I like this a little bit because once you get your super down in the mid, the grass burn is going to be huge and you can't sneak around. And that's like a big reason as to why Chester might be viable in a map such as this. So taking the Amber, putting the oil down and burning it is very important. So the Pyromaniac is going to be center here, front and center. Response going to be bringing out the Frank as well. I like this Frank, but Frank into the Chester is a pretty interesting choice. But I feel like this is needed. This is needed for Revenant X Spark because imagine a Frank in conjunction with both the Chester and the Jay Young. So it's not that Revenant X Spark necessarily want this pick, it's that they want to deny this pick for Monarchy.
Captain, with the last pick, it's gonna be Mo. I was really expecting a Buster, honestly, but Mo this is the second time we're getting to see in the tournament, in Brawl Ball specifically, and is by Captain. And I think it was the one who played more last time as well. They know how to make things work with this Brawler. I mean, great counter. He can just get, he can just knock back the Frank while he's activating his super. Depends if the Frank doesn't have his other gadget. But Sergeant with that pick is really nice to see because he can just get rid of the projectile because you can pretty much dodge all the shots coming at when this projectile is slowed down. First game of grand final set number 1. We have it in front of us. Sergeant misses his gadget, gets the kill though. It's a pretty good
Wow.
early goal for Response.
9 seconds in the grand finals, and Revenant have just walked through Monarchy. That's kind of crazy. That's just the amount of bulk that Frank can bring you is in this map here. And there is going to be a super pop by Captain. He gets his heals up, and goes in for the super, gets taken out by Captain. And this is the amount of burst damage he can do. Ooh, Captain, adding insult to injury, has taken down almost everybody. He's going for a solo play. What? Captain! He managed to completely bamboozle Revenant there. That's crazy. We're tied at 1 apiece.
My goodness me, that's a great response. And Captain being lucky getting all those super that he probably requires, the specific ones. Response with the gadget, he gets the kill, he gets X9J low. He has to fall, back just to heal up the shots. Sergeant, I mean, Captain with the hypercharge as well is going crazy. Devastating damage coming, another hypercharge coming in. And that's the easy goal coming up from walkthrough. I mean, that was just beautiful stuff from Monarchy.
He completely broke Response's ankles. He just slotted that one in, just got it through. That was crazy. And that is gonna go the way of Monarchy. I felt like we had a really good game from Revenant. 10-second goal. That was crazy, but the response from Monarchy was actually, equally good. We're gonna go into game number 2 here, and on the left-hand side, Sergeant going up against some against Chester and Amano. Not the best matchup for him in this situation here, but he's going to be healed up here, Captain, by walkthrough. And he's going to go on the left-hand side, and we saw how devastating Captain was on this left-hand side. He's trying to force the issue, gets this poison off on an X9J, and walkthrough passes and polishes them off here with only 30 seconds elapsing. It is pretty much a stalemate in the mid so far.
Captain pretty much connecting everything, is getting nice super coming off as well as just being lucky, I guess, with the super for the wall break. Nice Feng super, he stays alive. Saran keeps the ball away, but he falls down as well to the Fengs, and that is a great defense right there. I mean Monarchy is equally punishing Revenant, but I think this time Revenant has the opportunity to make something happen. Response, no goal coming in right away, but still have it. I mean, it's Captain with the respawn. He gets stunned, and that's a beautiful goal coming up from Revenant again.
I'm actually a little confused as to why Captain didn't use his hyperdrive. I feel like he could have got the kill there, but that's going to be goal for Revenant. As we go into the second fixture here, Captain gets his hypercharge onto Sergeant, gets him down as well, but his teammates aren't ready to pick up the slack just yet. Sean has a super, goes in very aggressively on a response, goes past the ball up to walk through. It could be a goal scoring opportunity if they are careful about it. Sergeant gets the stun off on a Captain and walk through, trying to go in for a very desperate goal, which doesn't pan out in their favor.
Response falls down as well to Captain's poison damage. Captain, another stun coming in. Walk through, no connection yet. In the last moment, he gets the kill though. He has enough range to get work done. Walkthrough really wants that goal and a ball in the corner. They really have kept it in a position they can defend from. Nice X9J with super to make things slow down. He can dodge everything right with that. Sergeant needs his hypercharge to make a nice defense there. Good gadget coming in, no connection though. Saran gets a kill as well. This is an opportunity coming off a walkthrough and he gets it in.
Beautiful. 9 seconds left, and we are already in overtime. That's exactly what the doctor ordered for Monarchy, and that means that they're not going to be in a bad position as they go into this overtime here, though. Response going to be popping the gadgets. There is a Jae Young super as well. He pops his own gadget. Walkthrough's going to get so much more damage. Hypercharge, but it doesn't manage to connect. Oh, it manages to connect the two of them. Walkthrough and Shriner will be fired up. Sergeant Clash going in. He finds a pull. Captain cleaning up everybody. The ball won't even be passed by Shrine, but he gets taken out. Walkthrough uses super of himself. He manages to break X9G's ankle. Gets the dub. And that's going to be game for the side of Monarchy. They completely run through Revenant Esports.
I mean, you can see the face of Walkthrough. He knows that this is done, a really great job. I mean, Captain, we're not gonna ignore the fact that how many supers he was chaining, and the hypercharge was devastating, and not just one, he popped on two, and that was a really good play coming off from Monarchy. They really put up a nice show. I mean, yeah, there were not so nice situation in the beginning of the matches. I mean, both matches in general, but they really punished them well, when time was passing by, and they really did it.
Yeah, I felt like it was probably going the way of Revenant at the early onset of the first game, and even in the second game. But we saw theatrics and heroics, I would say, from Captain to champion them into getting that first win that they required. And then in the second one, it was just a good ensemble team play. There were moments of brilliance, though, from Revenant and Xparth. I mean, quite a lot of them, in fact. I remember a situation where the ball was on the top right corner, and Jay had a super, and he had to defend against two people, managing to use his super to get all those two kills and completely dissipating any of the pressure that was coming in. We're gonna go into our second set here. Monarch taking the first one, and the draft is gonna have Finks as the first pick. But if you look at the bans, there's gonna be a Kenji, a Jean, a Squeak, a Lumi, a Kenji, and a Jae Young. Double Kenji ban implies one more brawler, which has escaped the bans here, and one more brawler that you can be picking up here if you're Revenant X Spark.
I really like the Squeak ban because you know how annoying Squeak is in the left-hand side of the map. I mean, Saran, really nice pick. You just can't afford to give them a Finks, and it was not banned, and they really got it. Response. With the response of Bo, the mines are going to be hell annoying, especially if they drop it on the the bushy part of that, because you never know. Like the bow mines, even the hypercharge is so much valuable if you put that in the gem spawn. Still, there's a lot to go with the comp. B is still open, not really great. In terms of how the comp is going so far. I mean, just one pick from both sides, you still never know. Amber is also an option, and I really know that Response is always the one playing Amber. He really likes playing that, so we might get to see Amber as well. But X9G with a Chester.
Yeah, they might have liked how Captain brought out that Chester in the previous game and decided that maybe they want to go on the offensive. Maybe they want to bully the enemy team and walk through picking up the Gus in response. I like the Gus. Long range damage. It has a lot of capabilities to shield up their teammates. The hypercharge is also decent. I wouldn't say it's great, but it's pretty decent, all things considered. Captain going for the Otis, and I feel like this region does rate the Otis quite a lot. I haven't seen most other regions pick up the Otis unless like there's a specific use case for it. So it is interesting that it's going to be brought out here. And Revenant X Spark have this last pick. They go for the Piper, and in terms of the in terms of the range matchup here, I do like Revenant X Spark's chances. Though Monarchy do have a nice way forward. I like this last pick of the Piper specifically because the Otis can't be as impactful because he's not going up against tanks or mid ranges.
Yeah, definitely. But the puddle is still going to be annoying to get the scout on the grass as well. Piper is not a bad pick, of course. We have seen Piper even in Brawl Cup as well, or in any other big tournament as well. She's a really great brawler for mid in general. She has the range. She has the gadget. No connection so far with the gadget. Yeah. Response falls low already. A kill. Sergeant goes down as well. Really nice start coming up from Monarchy.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful stuff here. Complete dominance at the onset of this match here, but X9J has to make a lot of these connections. Otherwise, that Piper pick isn't going to be giving them the dividends that they want. He's going to be using the gadget to just pressure Captain back. You obviously don't want that to happen. And Response is going to be taken down, as is Sergeant. And now X9J is the last to fall, and 6 gems to 0. Great start for Monarchy.
I mean, they're really being dominating in the sense. I mean, they're really trying to find blood against Revenant. As if they're really looking for some kind of revenge from the past. I mean, they were the one getting the 3-0 sweep, but they're doing it again. Will they do it again? That's the question. 9 gems to 1 on the opponent point of side. Nice Fang Super getting those nice from Saran very quickly. Gem has been picked, and I think it should be enough to get game number 1 of Gem Grab, but we still have 10 seconds. It's do or die, you never know. But yeah, I think it should be enough. 6 seconds is not even enough to reach.
Captain, I love that. He knew that the mines were there. He just died on purpose. I don't think he cares that much. We're gonna go into the next game here, but it's looking like there is advantage Monarchy as they got the first game. Let's see how it plays out in the second one. I feel like Jay has to make a lot more of those shots. At the Brawl Cup, he was an amazing Piper. He made so many kills for his team. He got so many kills for his team, and I feel like he has a distinction of being one of the most impressive Pipers at the Brawl Cup. So he needs to connect these shots because he has the capability, but Walker getting the better response here. Sergeant going to be tagged up a little bit, and he might just get taken out in this interaction as he does. Nice pinch coming in from the boys in Monarchy as Revenant Esports are not performing at that level that they want. And Sergeant X9J getting taken out is not doing them any favors.
Definitely gonna talk about Jukes coming up from walkthrough. He really did well there. Nice TP coming up to stay alive there. Sergeant is in a really bad position, but gets out of that. X9J has 3 gems, not enough. Saran puts his super to stay alive and get some extra shield damage, Response, really trying to sneak in, get that hypercharge to place it in the middle, but not enough to get it so far. X9J has hypercharge, he puts it in, puts a gadget as well, gets a kill on Captain. By Response. I mean, it's still not enough. I mean, this game is going pretty, even compared to the last one.
Ooh, a big kill from Response on a walkthrough, and all the gems are going to be collected by Revenant Esports. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. Response is also going to be having his super as well, which he can place it down, but right now they're not pressured enough to really place it down here. 7 seconds left, nobody from Monarchy really figuring in this situation, and that game is going to go the way of Revenant, which is what they needed here. It's going to be tied at 1 apiece, but this game is so important. The winner of this game is going to go I mean, if Monarchy wins this game, they're going to be forcing their advantage. They're going to go up 2-0 in the set score, whereas Revenant need this one to be at parity. They need this equalizer. So we're going to go to this last game off the second set between Monarchy and Revenant, and this is very pivotal.
Yeah, first gem picked by X9J, second as well. Nice jukes coming up from walkthrough with a nice TP to stay alive. There gets a kill as well, though. He will get the dominance and, everything he got. In the side lane, he will be the one taking care of Sergeant. Now, I mean, response on the bow is gonna come and there. Ooh, okay, that was beautiful kill on Sergeant. X9J falls low as well. He has to back off to heal some shots. Saran with the super available from walkthrough is just not enough time to make use of it much. Saran gets all the
Oh,
gems and nice stamps coming on Sergeant gets the kill. Response is in a very bad position. Walkthrough can't just really force as well, but it should be enough for response to go back. And over to you, Panda.
oh man, Sergeant just getting caught between a rock and a hard place. Gets taken out there. Jay has his hypercharge, the purple button, not able to use it to get the damage that he's wanting. Response being pressured on the right hand lane, gets taken out. And just like that, we did have Monarchy at a disadvantageous position, but now are in a lead. That kill though from Sergeant is going to be changing a lot of how things are going around. The X9J popping in the purple button, not able to connect the shots, but his teammates surely are, giving him enough room to pick up a few more gems here in this interaction.
We were really underestimating captain on the Otis, but it's doing so good so far against the boy, especially with the puddle damage with gadget as well, keeping the pressure up. Healings coming up from Sergeant's gadget, not enough to keep him alive. Gets the kill. Beautiful
Oh,
stuff
no
coming up.
way.
Saran stays alive with 9 gem. 1 gem is all what he needs. X9J escapes with just 7.
What?
Nice kill coming up as well from Captain. What is happening? It's enough. 12 seconds on the clock. Well, Monarchy takes set number 2 as well. In 7 seconds is left.
5 seconds left, and Shrine is just, chilling in the resort on the bottom left side. Doesn't give a care in the world as Monarchy extend their lead 2-0 against Revenant X Spark. And one more set, just 2 more wins in this next set is all that Monarchy needs to be coronated the champions, the kings of the UCL 2025. So it's going to be very pivotal for them. But even more so for Revenant X Spark, they need 3 straight set wins to force another grand finals.
I mean, they're just really repeating what they did yesterday so far. I mean, it's really writing that storyline beautifully. Like 3-0 sweep. I think this is what they're gonna go for again. Revenant as a team, you just can't underestimate because they're one of the best seeds in the region. And I mean, they still got something to put up a show. We have Hot Zone coming up in the next one, and we know how good Revenant is. And Hot Zone and Brawl Ball specifically was not in a favor in the beginning though. But let's see if Monarchy is gonna take 3-0 sweep and gonna take the the prize money as well as the crown, or Revenant is gonna stay alive with this one.
Yeah, just looking at the match stats here, just look at the amount of kills that Shrine was able to get. 5 to his name as August. That is not that easy, but he was able to get a double kill with one of his hypercharges, which is kind of crazy and insane. But on the other side, a little bit of lackluster showing from Response, and we didn't get those snipes that we expected from X9J, especially against the composition that he's going up against. It should be pretty straightforward for him to get some of these. So that is a bit disappointing if you're a Revenant X Spark fan as we go into this third set here. And honestly, their days might be numbered here on Dueling Beetles, or maybe Open Zone, or Open Business, or Ring of Fire.
Yeah, also I'm a bit disappointed with the bow, not the brawler and the player itself, but the fact that he wasn't able to put a lot of mines, especially the hypercharge one. The fact that it's easy with bow to just farm again and again, but that hypercharge being annoying again and again, get some value, but it was not just enough in that particular matchup. Let's see what they got in Hot Zone. Will they go for a berry, hang, or something like that? We have Ring of Fire that we wanted in the
Yes.
grand finals for set number 3, and B. Krev and Lu is coming as the ban from Monarchy. Revenant X Spark with the Jaeyong, Kenji, as well as the Hank. They don't really want that nasty Hank in the map. And, the response with Carl on against the Lumi. And X9J with this bow again. I mean, yeah, that hypercharge is really annoying, but you just have to keep farming that.
Yeah, I like this bull pick on this map. I feel like, you have to get to the mid. So there's a place where you need to be concerned about the bow mines, which is the mid. So that makes sense. Strong going to go for the Frank, and the Frank is going to give you a little bit of HP. It's also going to be like a little bit of a sponge for Lumi to go through and use her super to get those stuns off of the other team. But right now, it looks like there isn't that much of damage from the side of Revenant and Spark to address this brawler from Shrun, but a Chester could come out here for Revenant and Spark. But they go for the Colette, which is a standard counter, like a classical counter to the Frank. But it's still very dangerous because the reworker Frank makes him use his ammo much faster. So in those situations, maybe the Colette might die while trying to rush the Frank. And Captain has this Chester as this last pick here.
I mean, Chester, last pick, I really like that because the hypercharge has so much potential to get things done. Lumi, I'm really surprised that Lumi was not banned in this one. And the gadget acts as a loose super in the beginning itself. You don't have to farm it.
Yeah.
It's just, and the gadget already coming in. He finds two. He might get some damage, not too much. Okay, that's a great start coming off from Monarchy already. Captain trying to find his hypercharge. He might want help. Oh, Sergeant. I didn't see properly. I guess there was a miss super there.
Yeah, he got a double kill on the right-hand side. That basically, I feel like it might have won the game already. Might be a bit premature saying that as walkthrough goes in. Finds the kill on a Sergeant. He's looking to get the kill onto the bow, not able to find it as X9J sneakily manages to get away from that situation. Respond to the right-hand side. Ooh, Shrong getting taken out is going to be huge for the side of Revenant Esports. Stun coming in, finds its way on a Sergeant, and this is why Captain is so good on this Frank here. Colette, great brawler. Classically, one of the best counters on paper. But in reality and in practice, not going to be the case most of the time here, as there is a final kill from Sergeant on the Captain there. And despite the great start from Revenant, it is almost tied all the way.
Gadget coming up from Lumi again. I mean, the bow mines also connected so well on Captain, and it was so much value there. Hypercharge coming up from Sergeant, not much value on Captain. He still stays alive. It's pretty looking good. Sergeant is running away from Lumi as well. Gets a kill on Sergeant though. I mean, on Captain as the Frank. Colette has the damage. X9J is poisoned, but I think he's gonna stay alive now. He goes down. Lumi with the area control. Again, the gadget is there. Not looking good so far. They have to make the pressure up again. Bow mines has been refused totally. And Response has his hypercharge to make some play. He rushes it and finds a trade.
Yep. And with control slightly dissipating for Monarchy, Revenant should be getting control of this mid in this ebb and flow game that we see in Ring of Fire. Kill onto walkthrough is there. There is a hard... Sorry, Shrine gets taken out, so Captain has to pick up the slack as he gets the kill on a Sergeant. And the number of times he's getting the better Sergeant in this interaction is crazy. He should be able to get the kill on Response. He is, but with 368 HP to his name, Sergeant doesn't care. He's going to go for walkthrough. He needs to find the skill, and he's going to be able to do exactly that. Now, Captain has to hold this point here. He pops his hypercharge. He's trying to get a stun off. He manages to get one stun, but doesn't find Response, who manages to get unchecked. Sergeant going in with a super, and finally, Response and Revenant get this win, which they so sorely needed.
I mean, that was unfortunate to see a Colette missing that HC right in front of the Frank, but it's still enough to give them a kill and the win as well. Ancient will Revenant revive in the competition? Will they get the set? And will we get to see a set number 4, or is it gonna be Monarchy getting 2 games in a row and get the grand finals? Next game we have start. It's pretty evened out, but walkthrough is low. It's a 1v1 situation. Sergeant falls low as well. He stays alive. X9J is here to take care of that, and Saran falls down as well. He really needs a super to put down in the middle of the map to get some value. And so far, so good. Pretty evened out, I guess. And Captain almost falls down. It was about to be a trade, but they just managed to survive.
Honestly, this is a much better game for Monarchy, and that stun is basically emblematic of how it's been going for them so far. Super coming in from Response, he gets a kill on a walkthrough, which is huge. But Sharon is low, and Response is going to be noting that as he gets the kill there with the help of X9J, actually. And a huge stun coming in from Captain, but misses it, and a super from Sergeant polishes him off as walkthrough on the mid. Should surely be found out here, as he does.
Great stuff coming up from both teams. I mean, Monarchy doing better this time, but I think Revenant has much better control even this time. Hypercharge available for the Colette, pops the gadget to get some healings. Nicely done on walkthrough, he gets the kill. Hypercharge plays for the bow as well. The mines is gonna be very annoying. Frank is doing his job, but it's not enough. He falls down to response. Hypercharge. Walkthrough is low. He has to heal up before coming up in the equation. Back again, but he falls down, getting pinched by the Collet as well as response. Bow mines has been diffused. Two of them still left.
Oh no!
Sergeant dies midway in his super. Response is trying to make things works in the right hand corner of the map, but I mean, still not enough. Sergeant is falling low and falls down with a gadget.
Big hypercharge from walkthrough, finds a kill on a Sergeant. Now he's going up against X9J. He needs to get this kill here, but Response finds the kill on a Strong and manages to take out walkthrough as well. Captain walking up. Ooh, the pushback from Sergeant is going to be enough to get him off that point. Hypercharged by Response, and this is what Revenant need right now. They need to be aggressive, but walkthrough finding the kill on a Sergeant. Oh. It's going to be huge. He manages to survive, and this game is going to go to Monarchy unless Response gets something. He gets the kill, but just 1% is all they need. Monarchy managing to get this one. They are on match point against Revenant X Spark here.
Oh my goodness me, this is a match point for Monarchy. They gotta do it if they want to win the tournament, and it's a long way for Revenants. Even if they win this one, still in the competition, but one game is all what Monarchy needs to get the whole event crowned by themselves as the #1 position. We have to see how things work. Looking good far for Monarchy. Nice pressure coming in, but we get a kill on walkthrough. X9J trying to find some connection. Captain is low. He's trying to stay alive. Getting his gadget. I think he's trying to find a situation when he can pull gadget and farm his super. No connection from the super from walkthrough. He is low and he might go down. He go down. Response is alive. Goes down as well. X9J no connection from Saran, and he gets the kill. Is the only one alive in the zone.
I honestly feel like looking back at the end of this game, that would have been the pivotal possession. That would have been what Monarchy got the win. But unfortunately for them, that didn't happen. But, it's still early on. Anything could happen. But the stun is crazy. Now Response going in. He gets pulled by Captain. Captain's still alive. How is this man still crazily operating? But finally, the cleanup is there from Revenant Esports. Janitorial duty by both Sergeant and X9J is allowing them to get back onto the point here and extend their lead a little bit as well. Response purple button being pop. He goes in on his Captain. He should be able to find one kill. He's able to find two with the fire damage, and Revenant are going to be able to possibly win this set. They are up 40%, and it's looking great for them.
A lot of bow mines, a lot of them, and the map. Hypercharge has been popped by Sergeant. He will try to find Captain. He will get the kill. He tries on another. He already dies. Saran is down as well. It's a complete team wipe coming up from Revenant X Spark. They're spinning. They know it. This is for them. The set is for them. And it's not gonna be enough. Captain is low. He falls down as well. And Revenant stays alive in the event. And it's not gonna be a 3-0 sweep from Monarchy.
Yeah, Revenant finally getting that one set win that they needed. And this is how you build the house. You start with the bricks, you put the cement in, you start layering them one after the other. So this is the first brick that they put down. And they got to put 2 more bricks down if they want to get a possible Grand Finals reset, but Monarchy is not going to let them do that. They obviously aren't going to be taking this line down. We did see great moments of brilliance with Monarchy. There was that one moment where not one moment, there were many moments where Captain popped off with his super, his hypercharge as well. It was kind of crazy, but just looking at the amount of pressure and control that you can see from the Revenant Spark guys here. 7 kills from X9J, 6 from Response, 4 from Surgeon, and just the DPS is crazy. Obviously, they're going up against a Frank, so that is to be expected, but walkthrough, despite not getting it any kills, right? On this stat line. He did a lot in terms of pressure and control and keeping people back and forcing Revenant and X-Spark to regroup here. But that one play from Shran is something I feel that might be a big regret for Monarchy, because that could have been a set winning game, that could have been a match winning game, and a tournament winning game for them. So unfortunately, they don't have much time to dwell on this, and neither do we as we go into our draft here. And it's going to be Kaboom Kennen. Looking at our bans, we have Daryl, Carl, Barry, Finks, Barry, and Melody being banned out. Double Barry ban opens up one more thing here that you can decide to draft on. But one thing I have to note is that I do not see a Chuck ban. That means the train is a possibility. I do not see a Bonnie ban, which means Bonnie is going to be really great. I wouldn't be surprised if Revenant decide to go for a Bonnie Chuck here, but Captain going for the Collect, classically a very strong brawler here, and Bonnie comes out, no surprises there. Sergeant going for the Terra, which I feel like might be slightly uncharacteristic, but there are situations where Terra is really good.
Still haven't seen Tara in this kind of equation matchup. I mean, the call is out of the equation itself because it will not cause trouble to Sergeant with this, Tara Shades as well. Lumi was still not banned and was enough, and Walkthrough pegs it again. I mean, you still have the option of something like Piper or Bell, but I think Piper onto Tara will not be so nice, considering the Tara Shades might trouble her a lot. But yeah, we still have the Bell or the bounce shots, and you have enough range. You can try it out. But I mean, I really like the bans. Honestly, Chuck is still an option. We are at the last pick already. You have been picked out by Strawn. We still have the last pick, and Chuck. Neither banned, neither pegged so far, and no Chuck in the equation because we're gonna get to see a Genji.
Yeah.
Tara, I mean, I'm not sure, but
I do not like this draft at all.
Are in the hands of the pro players. I mean, yeah, these brawlers in the hands of pro players, so you never know.
I mean, even if you're a pro player, I don't think I like this draft because I feel like Chuck is so good here, especially look at the composition that they're going up against. The amount of damage dealing that they have to do a base race isn't that much. I feel like Chuck and Bonnie are going to be able to do so much better in that situation with Sergeant with the backup as well. But I don't mind the Kenji, all things considered. I think the Kenji is really great, especially since you have to go on the objective to be able to, get some damage done. And that's when you get your super as Sergeant, as a Kenji here. Sergeant piloting the Kenji, not able to get as much value as he's looking for. They're going up against Walk on the left-hand side, which is a tough proposition to go up against. And Jay on the right-hand side gets taken out, but Sergeant is going to be forced to move back to regroup there, or rather he gets taken out.
I mean, I really like the Bonnie because of the fact that you can just jump and, go to the left-hand side of the map, exactly what I was talking about, but it was not enough. Walkthrough had enough damage and health to get things work. Sergeant is in a nasty position. He can get some kills. He can also farm his super from right there. He gets the save. A lot of damage coming in. Tara also alive. Shield has been popped on the save, and no one to take care of that. Bonnie is still alive. It's probably gonna get benched there. Captain is also using his healing gadget to stay alive there. Sergeant looking for his super, gets the kill on Captain. Nicely done so far by Revenant.
Yeah, I mean, Sergeant is obviously not going to be the damage dealer. He's going to go for ancillary damage when people are not there on the safe, or he's been overly aggressive just to complement his team. That's when he goes in for a little bit of safe damage. Jay gets taken out, which is huge. Now Sergeant's going to be trying to keep them off on the back lines. You're going to see a lot of dodging in. I don't know how he's managing to stay alive, and he goes in, finds a kill on a walkthrough as well, but finally taken out, as is his teammate here. Jay is with a super hypercharge, but very low. Surely going to be taken out here by Strawn and Walkthrough in that pinch. Now it's finally Sergeant back on the point. Jump coming in from response. Finds a kill on a Captain. Sergeant polishing off Strawn, but gets taken out himself by Walkthrough. Stun onto the Terra there. And Jay falls by the wayside. So great defensive plays for Monarchy. But what is the objective of this mode? It's heist. You need to get safe damage, and that's where they're failing.
Hypercharge, double hypercharge on the save by the Colette. It's massive damage. 29 to 68% now. Lumi is backing off. I mean, it's enough damage coming off from two supers in a row from Captain, as the hypercharge Colette is enough. Another super coming in. Lots of damage coming in. Hypercharge. Kenji gets some kill. Beautifully done. Is it gonna be enough? And yes, Revenant who will find number one of the high set.
You need one more game for Revenant to force a set number 5. That's what they want. That's what the doctor ordered. But let's see if Monarchy are able to come out on top here. First game, they played really well. But like I said, the objective is to get damage on the high safe. And that's where they were failing. Time and time again, Revenant were keyed into what they needed to do. And this is where I see Monarchy failing in a lot of the heist matchups that they do go into. So they are a little bit weaker on heist compared to some of the other sets here. On the right-hand side, Jay gets taken out. Sergeant is going to be following suit as well. And on the left-hand side, Captain finishes them off a complete team wipe. Now, the grass on the side of Monarchy. Revenant completely out of this right now.
Bonnie Chomp, I mean, gets walked through. Sergeant is still alive. Let's not forget that he heals as well as he lands the shots. I mean, Response struggling against the Eve babies because it's just gonna be annoying because Bonnie got some single damage. Nice kill coming up from Captain. I mean, I don't know. I mean, so Revenant is still doing it, but this time much better pressure coming up from Team Monarchy. But I mean, still not enough damage has been dealt. Walkthrough gets rid of that super, gets nice stun on Jay, but he still ties to Jay. I mean, this is not looking good so far. Revenant has, I mean, getting the control again.
Yeah. But at this level of gameplay, you don't expect those sort of whiffed plays coming in from walkthrough. That's stun. As a panic super in competitive, nah, you can't do that. You can't get away with that. And that's exactly what happens with Revenant. They decide to punish it. A complete team wipe here. But we are at parity. It's 71 to 71%. And I think that Revenant are fine with this, the way it's going. Because look at that Bonnie. Bonnie's going to be able to get onto the objective quite easily here. So despite the great start for Monarchy, Revenant slowly but surely coming back here. Wall's going to be broken. And that's going to get Sergeant onto the point against walkthrough even more. He goes in for the super, misses it onto walkthrough, but manages to cap him off. Sergeant gets taken out by Captain on the left-hand side. Jump coming in from response. He's going to go for damage on the objective. Surely going to be taken out in this interaction here. Hypercharged by Captain, and he goes in, gets a little bit of value, gets onto the objective, and the lead is going to be extending for Monarchy by about 18%.
Can Monarchy get this set? And this is the set that they need. I mean, 46% to 64 is not a lot. 19 second, and you have to keep that in mind that the safe has that. Oh my goodness me. I mean, hypercharge coming in from Sergeant. He gets it in, gets walked through as well, gets some damage. Captain is alive. Shades coming up from Tara. Not enough. 4 seconds left on the clock. 51% to 36 now. It's enough to give Revenant Esports. There's still a chance. They're still not out, and I mean, this is looking absolute.
Yeah, you can see
kind of match, bro.
You can see the despair in X9J's face. You can see it written all over his face right now. They need this win here, but Monarchy are not making it easy by any means. They're looking quite fierce. It is going to be a match point for Monarchy. A win here is all they need to win this entire tournament, whereas Revenant need a win here to force a set number 5, and then win that to be able to go for a grand finals reset. So a very difficult option here for them to exercise. Response gets taken out. There is a super from Captain on the save, and that's going to be putting them almost at an equalizing situation here. Sergeant going to be a little bit of a distraction on the bottom right corner, but I think Walkthrough is fine with that situation here. He should be able to do pretty decently. And as he's there, he's able to, extend the lead for the side of Monarchy.
Fourth shield has been popped out for Revenant Esports save. Another super coming up from Captain. He heals up with the shots. X9J has a super as well. Doesn't try to connect it. Captain still stays alive, gets the kill on Jay. I don't know why Jay didn't use a super earlier, but he really gave him a chance to get the damage on save. And Hypercharge Eve baby is gonna be very annoying, but I think Tara can take care of that with the damage that they pierce through. Sergeant falls down as well. This is really looking good for Monarchy. More damage coming in, but it was immune. No connection from Captain's Hypercharge on the save.
Oh my god, walkthrough, completely destroying them. Super on the safe, and it is good. Stun being used on absolutely nobody. It's going to be 18%, but now with those kills, there is a way forward for Monarchy, but Hapton manages to dodge that super completely with his own super. 8% is all that Monarchy needs, and it's a very difficult defensive play, but double kills onto Monarchy. From Monarchy onto Revenant is used now. Walkthrough has a piercing shot. He can just go in, and that is going to be enough. That's all done. It is dusted. Monarchy are going to be your winners of the UCL 2025. Congratulations, Monarchy. Commiserations to Revenant X Spark, as they are the final team to be eliminated in this tournament.
Captain Roxaran walked through, gets it in. They were logged in. They really beat it, this number one seed 2 times. Couldn't do it a 3 over the second time, but they really get it. And what matters at the end of the day is winning the tournament. And I mean, winning the match itself. And they got the tournament, and they really did great throughout. I mean, Revenant had chances, they still had chance. This match was not looking, biased at all. It was really equal, and even, they could have done something there, but it's the win that matters at the end of the day.
That.
And Monarchy gets it all, and they win the tournament. They grab the prize money, and this is the stats.
Wow. Just look at what Tron did. He cooked that match. I felt like he wouldn't be as effective. Like I said, they don't have the damage for the base race, but they were surprisingly able to get to the objective much easier than their opponents. And I don't like the Terra pick. Like I said, I don't like the Terra pick. I understood a little bit of why you would go Kenji, but I would have preferred the Train over the Kenji here. But 9 kills with 414 DPS, 4 kills with 472 DPS, and I gotta say, we got a lot of Indian cooking in this matchup here against Revenant X Spark.
Definitely very underrated region, as I mentioned before. And Monarchy is showing it all. They're showing that this region got the, it's got everything. They're putting everything. Skills is just underestimated by everyone, and they're showing it off. I really hope more events like this, happen in the future. But for now, Monarchy is gonna be crowned with that prize money as well, and they take over Revenant Esports with 3-1. They couldn't do 3-0 as we expected before, but that was a win, and they get the bracket with the number 1 in the situation.
Yeah, just looking at the story so far, just looking at the brackets, right? I want to be on the screen for a little bit, production. The story so far about how these teams have got from the upper bracket semifinals all the way to the grand finals. First up in the competition yesterday, we had Revenant X Spark against Upcore Esports, and unfortunately, that's not going to be the case because production decided to change it. Okay, cool. We're good here. Congratulations to Monarchy, 3-1. Very dominant display. There were moments of brilliance coming in from Revenant X Spark, but that was not meant to be, as Monarchy are going to be crowned and coronated as champions of the UCL. I hope you guys have enjoyed this production and this tournament that we brought to you. We did have some growing pains yesterday and today, but it is a first tournament that Upcore Esports have put out, and I feel like they did a pretty stellar job, everything considered. So congratulations to Monarchy, congratulations to Revenant Spark for second place, and thank you to all the people who've showed up to the stream today. That means the casters, I guess. I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but AJ, thank you for showing up, along with all the production people working behind the scenes, the admin as well, the pro players to make this a huge event. And thank you to Supercell for partnering with Upcore Esports, along with Matcherino and Reconic Esports being our tournament partners as well.
Definitely. It was a beautiful journey throughout these 2 days for the playoffs. We really did see a lot of things happening in the round robin, and the storyline continued all the way in the playoffs, and looking at the teams trying to grab that prize pool for the first place and coming all the way to this point. Unfortunately, Upcore wasn't able to make it in the grand finals, as most of the fans I could see in the chat were really expecting, and they wanted them to be. But okay, Monarchy did it all. They deserve it. They really beat the number 1 seed in this region 2 times, and they really deserve it, I guess. And yeah, as you said, thanks a lot to the production and everything. Without this, it was not possible at all. Making a debut as a caster on this table, along with the greatest of all time, Code Panda.
Yeah, no problem. And once again, like $3,000 in a States tournament, third-party tournament is kind of crazy. So the sponsors really did come out clutch here, but I guess it is time to end the stream, but I have to say thank you so much for showing up, chat. If you're buying anything in any Supercell game, make sure you use code PAN in the shop. Subscribe to me, like the stream, and obviously subscribe to AJ7. He makes amazing content as well. Live animation. So if you're looking to, wow, AJ7 jersey. So if you're looking to make some kind of animations or some content for your channel, hit up a lot of people from the production team in Upcore Esports. But once again, congratulations to Monarchy for winning. And this is where we'll end this tournament stream today. Appreciate each and every one of you for showing up. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being a part of that.